Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Soup. Wow, I really blew that. I haven't done that in a long time. Welcome to Midwest Paranormal presents Paranormal Soup. Wow. All right, well, we are back tonight on Sunday night, and we have a new guest tonight, a new psychic, or I should say clairvoyant, UK clairvoyant, Maurice Amdur. He's going to come on tonight, and he is a numerology expert, psychic, medium, traveled the world. You know, he's read for royalty, heads of state, movie and music legends, galore. You might have seen him before, honestly. He's been on TV shows before. I know I recognized the name when I first got the guest contact, and I'm like, I remember this one. Never had him on the show, so I'm interested. And as far as I know, he will be taking calls tonight, later in the show. Of course, if he does readings, let's make them mini readings. We don't want to take up the whole show with your reading. But five minutes, sometimes I say 5 minutes and it'll be in 10 or so or more, but that's all right. But yes, call in tonight, later in the show, to get a reading from our guest, UK clairvoyant Maurice Amdur. And of course, tonight we got the World Wide Web of Weird, a lot of weird stories tonight. Even want to cover a little bit about some people who claim to be psychic and some fraudsters out there. A couple interesting articles on that. I think, we should, I love having psychics on the show, but we should talk about the ones who do use it to, they're not psychic, to take your money. I got 2 interesting articles for that. A lot of other weird stuff in the World Wide Web of Weird. I really had to pick and choose again this week. It's always getting weirder and weirder out there. We got a lot to get to, so let's go ahead and get rolling on into it. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jblandparanormalsoup. Tonight's guest, Maurice Amdur, will join us after the World Wide Web of Weird, after our first commercial break. And then later in the show, like I said, we will open up the phone line, so just hold on. Call in a little bit later. Like I said, after our second commercial break, we'll probably take phone calls in. And I'm pretty sure Maurice said that he will do readings tonight, so we should be good on that. Joining me, as always, finally, we have her back after a couple-week break, but we got her back. It's my beautiful co-host, Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing great. Thank you very much. And I'm happy to be back and looking forward to our guest tonight. I've heard such wonderful things about him.
Yeah, like I said, I was kind of excited when I got this contact because I've heard Maurice Amdur. I think I've heard him in an interview on another radio show. I can't remember which one. And I've seen him on TV spots before for his, UK clairvoyant. And he's pretty incredible. The stuff that I've seen him say he did, like predicted celebrity predictions especially. Rob Autry from St. Augustine, Florida. How you doing tonight, Rob?
Oh, I'm still kicking, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, you're kicking. You're here. I heard you got to meet our former, he's always going to be our resident a-hole, Todd Reinhardt down in Florida.
Yep.
Longtime viewers of the show, if you remember our resident a-hole, Todd Reinhardt, our resident, sometimes skeptic, I don't know. I think Todd had an open mind. I don't think he was a total skeptic. Him and Rob finally got to meet. I got to meet Rod this year too. It was awesome. So one day, Jamie, one day we will get to meet in person, meet the kids and everything. One day we will do it. All right, guys, we got a lot to get to in the World Wide Web of Weird, so let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, we got UFO stuff, we got a couple cryptid stories, we got a couple ghost stories, and we got I think we got 2 psychic fraud stories to cover tonight. Since I know I had these stories, I wanted to cover them, and I was like, I got a psychic on tonight. It's nothing to do about the psychic we got tonight. Maurice Amdur has quite well-established career and well-known, but there are psychic frauds. We'll get to that tonight. I can't believe 2 of these stories popped up when I'm having the psychic on, but they are in the news tonight. I'll end the show, World Wide Web of Weird, on that. But I guess we'll start off with UFOs. Particularly this UFO is 1990. And when they say 32 years old, I was a teenager growing up in the 90s, and it's like 32 years ago when I see this. But everybody's talking about this photograph that was classified in 1990 that has now surfaced of a UFO. Let's go ahead and pull the World Wide Web Weird up. Rob always shares the photos and videos. This is from Unexplained Mysteries, the article. Photo taken by 2 men who spotted a strange object above Scotland in 1990 has finally been published. On August 4th of that year, 2 young chefs had been walking in the Cairngorms National Park. I probably said that. Cairngorms, if they say that, National Park near Perth, when they spotted a strange diamond-shaped object in the sky nearby. Terrified, the men hid behind some bushes to observe the mysterious craft. Short time later, they heard the sound of an RAF jet approaching. The plane seemed to change course and circle the UFO for a time before returning to its original course. Keen to take a photograph, one of the men aimed the camera at the sky and took a few snaps. A few seconds later, the object flew upwards into the heavens and was gone. Convinced that they had seen a UFO, the men passed their best photograph along to a local newspaper. However, it was promptly handed over to the Ministry of Defense. It was never published. Great. Freedom of press, The news isn't controlled at all, right? This is 1990. It's no different now. The image would stay classified, in fact, for over 30 years until it turned out that retired RAF officer Craig Lindsay had broken protocol by stashing a copy of it inside his desk. Now 83, he was only too happy to provide the image so it could finally see the light of day. Intriguingly, it shows exactly what the 2 men had described, a diamond-shaped object covering the sky with the RAF jet visible circling in the background. Exactly what the object could have been, however, continues to remain a mystery. And yeah, there's you can see the jet in the background. This thing had to have been huge. If that's the jet in the background?
Yeah.
I mean, it's up closer, but still, I think this thing had to be pretty big.
So that's the actual photo right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Classified for 30. And it wasn't ever going to be released. So much for disclosure on the UK side, right? It wasn't ever going to be released. It got relief because the guy's retired and he left it in his desk. If he hadn't left it in his desk, nobody would ever see this photo.
And that's a really clear photo.
Hey, you can see the jet in the background. The question is, how did they get? They got to the newspaper, right? There's a lot I would love to know about this. Like, who, why were they so quick to respond to the newspaper trying to publish this, and why did they have to hide it? Seriously. You think most people write it off, oh yeah, that's fake, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Why were they so worried about this photo?
I was answering chat. Who actually took the photo?
One of the men. Did it say which one? It just says one of the men aimed their camera. I have the shorter article from Unexplained Mysteries. There might be that information in Daily Mail Online. It doesn't have much bigger articles. Their site's glitchy, so I used Unexplained Mysteries.
So they were in a plane when they saw it?
No. They were actually out on a walk.
Oh, no
and
way.
they spotted it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I like their reaction was to take cover and hide, because that's what my wife said she would do. Remember Kevin Malick,
Yeah.
late Kevin Malick, our friend, is not with us anymore. He saw a UFO out his window and he hid behind a couch. I think that's a very honest reaction from people. I mean, when they say they hide, you know, I get it. My wife would totally hide. I don't know if I would. I mean, I didn't one time I saw one. All right, we got to move on, though. This is a good one. I know, it's 32 years, that's what it took. Can't believe 1990 is 32 years ago. Okay. All right, next up, I got the article from Coast to Coast here, Tim Binnell. British motorist films possible alien. I don't know why they put alien here. Big cat. A motorist in Britain captured footage of a large black creature crossing through a field, and some suspect that the creature could have been one of the country's mysterious alien big cats. Is that what they call them? According to a local media report, Paul Oakley spotted the odd animal on Monday morning as he was driving through the town of Sproston. Founded by the curious creature, he quickly pulled his car over to the side of the road and began filming the beast with his cell phone. That's why it's going to be really blurry and hard to tell. From a safe distance, as he was afraid to approach the animal due to its size. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm certain it's definitely not a cat because it was far too big, he mused. I don't think it was a dog either. Its tail was the size of the hay bale. With the two most likely suspects eliminated in my mind, Oakley posted the video on social media in the hopes that someone might be able to identify the mysterious animal. All right, go ahead and play it.
Well,
Not playing?
there we go.
Okay.
My mouse was froze up for a second.
Like I said, it's video. It's from a cell phone. I tried to zoom in on it somewhat, but, you know, it's just on here. It's going to be like hard to really tell. I mean, it does look big, but I've seen other cat videos like this on shows and that, and they say, oh, that's just a domestic house cat. It just is the size proportions because it's out in a field. I get it. I don't know. But there's been a lot of big cat sightings in England, and I'm interested why they call it, say, alien big black cat. I don't know what the alien part is.
I think it's definitely bigger than a house cat, but
You think?
yeah.
I mean, it could be just a large black cat, you know.
Yeah,
My sister-in-law has a very large black cat. I don't know.
could be
Or a
grandpa.
bobcat.
Yeah.
Black? They're the black bobcats in UK. I don't know. This is not my forte, but it's interesting. People seeing it. Okay, we got to move on. All right, so another cryptid story I saw pop up. This is from Mexico News Daily. There is a Coast to Coast, I think, had this too, but I just got it right from this Mexico News Daily website. Residents paint homes with crosses to ward off feared sorcerer. The belief that a supernatural being is lurking nearby has led some residents of the Morelos town to paint white crosses on their homes for protection. Some kayak resident, how do you say, Kokioke? I'm butchering that. Say they began hearing strange noises in the early hours of the morning 2 weeks ago. As they couldn't attribute the noises to an animal or any other source, they concluded they were made by a nagul, which in Mesoamerican folk religion is a human being who has the power to transform or shapeshift into an animal. Hold on. Article's getting glitchy. There it is. First, it was a few residents who started talking about the noises, and then as days passed, more people asserted they had heard the same thing. Luis Salgado, a local resident, told the newspaper El Sol de Catula. God, I am the worst. This is why I failed Spanish. At some point, one person suggested that the noises were made by a nagul, if I'm saying that right, and other residents agreed they couldn't, that they also heard it. They concluded that they needed to do something to ward off the supernatural being, so they decided to paint white crosses on their home. Crosses mainly appeared on homes in Buenos Aires Street, while Salgado says violent incidents have occurred. However, in recent days, fear of the nagul has extended to other parts of a town about 30 kilometers east in the municipality of Utepec. Residents are so afraid that they are staying inside after 10 p.m. Residents' belief and photographs of the white crosses on the people's doors and windows went viral on social media, triggering a range of responses, including mockery and even leading to the creation of Nagul memes. Salgado spoke out in defense of the belief, noting that the town, part of a region of Morales, where indigenous Nahu people live, is governed by the indigenous governing code known as Usia Catambres. I don't probably butchered that. Gustav Galabi, a historian, also observed the traditional beliefs remain strong. Other parts of the country, they're going to have, or the world, are going to have different beliefs. These people are definitely taking it seriously if they're all painting white crosses on and hearing these strange noises. I wish they could record the noises. I would love to know what the noises are. But shapeshifter beliefs, it's not just Mexico. A lot of different Native American tribes and other places across the world have, beliefs in shapeshifters. There's something that influenced this belief that a person, a sorcerer, or somebody could turn themselves into an animal or shapeshift. There's so much lore and tradition to that. I mean, in the book Don Juan, Carlos Castaneda, really delves into that kind of, and that story, if that's true or not. It's something that's always fascinating is the idea of somebody is able to transform themselves like that. There's so much lore about it. All right, we should move on. All right, let's go on to some ghost stuff. All right. Terrified family flees home due to paranormal phenomena. We've had many stories like this, but I always kind of love them. I feel bad for the family. I got this from Unexplained Mysteries. I'm going to read that. Theirs is a shorter article than this one. Laura Roth and her family were ultimately forced to flee after the activity at their home left them traumatized. Roth, who moved into a rented property in Teesside, England, with her husband and two children last November, quickly became suspicious that something was amiss. In addition to witnessing lights turning on and off by themselves, she kept developing unexplained bruises, and her son would keep waking up screaming in the middle of the night. And in the picture from the original article, they are showing some of the bruises on her leg. It looks like major bruises on her leg there. It's probably hard for you guys to see. Her son would also act as though there was someone else in the room with him. I got to the point where my son was talking to somebody, said Lauren. They used to sleep all night with no problem at all. My son would wake up and he'd stand at the top of the stairs just staring. That's creepy. Things were getting moved around the house and thrown down the stairs. We'd seen something during the night. Things went from bad to worse when she began experiencing feelings of being choked by an unseen assailant, and her daughter started to develop unexplained scratch marks. The last straw came in June of this year when her son went to bed one evening and started screaming, "Get off me and leave me alone," as though he was being attacked by something invisible. The family ended up living in a caravan in their neighbor's drive while they looked for a new home. You see it in the movies, but you don't think it's going to happen to you, said Lauren. We literally had to get up and move. We had no other choice. I mean, this is what I say. The best, I've had people send me video evidence of especially when it's a rental. They're living in a rental. I've hardly ever get to investigate them when they're this good. And I haven't done investigation in a couple of years. But I remember one where I got a video footage of somebody was in a rental and the cabinets were flying open and all that stuff. I mean, literally, they got videotape of it. But I never got in there because it's a rental, and who's going to live in that? And the people are like, yeah, breaking my lease. I'm gone. Me and my wife's first apartment. We broke our lease. I woke up to a woman standing over me going, "Get out." And we saw heads materialize in our bedroom together. We saw and heard stuff in that apartment. It wasn't the only reason we got out of there. But, when it's bad and it's a rental, bye-bye. That's what people do. And that's fine. I get it. No bravado. Don't have to live in that. It's interesting. I love it. I love investigating it, but I wouldn't want to live in it either. Especially when you have children. All right, let's move on to the next ghost story I got. This one's about ghost cries that were heard. Child's pitiful cries in York Street sparks ghost debate. This I got, if an article will be thepress.com. Woman has sparked a fierce debate online after telling how she heard a toddler sobbing pitifully for their mother in a York Street, but then searched for the child in vain, leaving her wondering if it was a ghost child. The woman was posting on Nextdoor, hyper-local social networking service, prompted suggestions that she may have indeed heard the cry of a ghost child from Baedeker bombing raid of New York, 1942, in which scores of people died. But others said it might have been foxes or cats, while some insisted she should have taken no chances and called the police. I agree with that last part. She felt it was a ghost, but if I heard a child crying and calling for the mother, even if I couldn't find them, I thought, yeah, it's probably a ghost. I couldn't leave the area without knowing for sure, and I'd call the police. And not a criticism on this person. If they felt it was a ghost, it was a ghost. But that's what I would do. I would call the police. The woman started off by asking whether anyone in the South Bank area, specifically Burnswick Street, had ever heard a child sobbing pitifully for their mother, but then found there was no child anywhere in sight. She said this happened to a friend of mine recently, and she said she is worried that she either heard a ghost or is going mad. So it was for a friend, right? Maybe she's the friend. She said what I heard was at approximately 3 p.m. It definitely wasn't cats or foxes because I heard words. It was very clear, came out of the blue, and said, "Mommy, mommy, where's my mommy?" several times in a very distressing way. It reminds me of a Doctor Who episode. Mommy? If you're a Doctor Who fan, you know what I'm talking about. It stopped just as quickly as it started, but I was convinced that it was a lost child, and when I turned the corner, I would see a toddler wandering there, but no, the whole incident left me feeling very shaken. Maybe that's where they got the idea of this is for Doctor Who. There's a classic Doctor Who thing. It isn't a ghost, but it is a boy who walks around with like one of those gas masks during World War II or something, and during the bombing raids, and he's possessed by an alien. He's not a ghost, but he's kind of creepy like a ghost. He like sneaks up on people. I don't know. One person responded by saying he lived in South Bank in 1977 and 78, and he has had mates had all heard the sound of a child sobbing for their mother. My grandmother, who lived in that area all her life, told me it was after the Baedeker raid on York during World War II when a house was bombed and the mother was killed and the child survived. As a kid of 8, it scared the living daylights out of me. Another said they lived on this southern street and believed they had heard a distraught child crying a few times, but never seen anyone around when they had looked. You know that's interesting to me about that is that the child didn't die in the raid, the mother did, but you hear the child crying, and that tells me this isn't a spirit of a child. People are literally, it's a time slip or a recording of an incident, and maybe a recording because of the emotional impact of that poor child back in 1942. Losing his mother in that moment, crying, and the emotion that's pouring out, sitting, in that area right there is recorded. It's so the human spirit. It's so powerful. It can impact a place, and many years later, people are still hearing it. I don't know. I don't think it's a ghost child. When you hear that, that's my thoughts. All right.
Pretty weird.
All right, I promised some Texas frauds, or Texas, no, this is from Texas. I promised some psychic fraud stuff because I thought, we're having a psychic on. He is definitely well established, but I believe in the psychic ability. I've told everybody all the time about my psychic experiences, the few that I've had, and I've had a lot, but I've had some really major ones that convinced me the ability is real. And I believe in the ability. I believe in the psychics I've had on this show. And I think we have a really good one tonight. But I want my audience to be cautious because there are people out there. I want you to believe and have an open mind, but you also have to question and be safe. So let's talk about these next 2 articles really quick before we run out of time because I thought this was interesting. This is happening more, I think, as people are becoming, and I was just talking to a coworker today. She said there's a metaphysical shop in her town, and it's really booming. People are really getting into this stuff lately. And I've noticed I've gotten a subscriber intake. I think when things get really crazy, people get into the spiritual, and you got to be cautious too, because people take advantage of that, and that's what these next 2 articles are about. Ontario woman scammed out of $11,000 by Texas psychic she met on TikTok. First off, big mistake. Don't meet them on TikTok. I'm not a fan of TikTok. An Ontario woman says she was scammed out of $11,000 after months spent working with a Texas psychic she met on TikTok following the death of her stepfather. The 20-year-old from Toronto named Marie was asked only to be identified by her first name, said she was seeking spiritual healing and guidance on what to do with the inheritance. That's just asking, of her stepfather left when she connected with a psychic. Yeah, She was there's so much negativity around you. I'm seeing 666, so we have to turn it into 999. And that's when she got the $9,000 from me. Oh. It hurts my heart for this woman. Marie said the psychic reading cost about $20 in the beginning, but the moment you mentioned the inheritance, I'm sure you mentioned it, she didn't pick it up psychically. Yeah, the money, you saw the little dollar size appear in the psychic size. Yeah. They quickly escalated to hundreds of dollars each session and more over the next 2 months. Every time she would do a reading, the price would go up. She would say, I need more money to get rid of all this negativity. Like, I need you to fix you, said Marie. Yeah, she needed to fix you, all right. The fix was in. Marie ended up spending around $11,000 in part because the psychic said she needed to remove negativity from the money. I've heard this one, but we've covered these stories before. And they've used that negativity of the money. The money's just negative, sweetheart. Come on, child, give me the money. Caroline, go to Light and give me $11,000. Once it was removed, she would send all the funds back, but she never did. I'll give it back, child. It makes me angry because I put my trust into someone. How can I be so dumb? I feel bad for this woman. Don't feel dumb. You were vulnerable. That you were stressed and vulnerable, and this woman took advantage of it. Or person. They don't say it's a man. Or no, did they say it was a woman? I can't remember. I just assumed. I'm an a-hole. To trust a complete stranger and give them everything that my stepdad left for me, said Marie. The Better Business Bureau has seen an increase in psychic scams. And Jesse St. Cry with the BBB said more psychic mediums are reaching out to young people using social media platforms. And that's what I'm afraid of. All right, we got 2 minutes left. Let me get to the last one. This last one's a little bit more money. involved. I got this from CBS News. I don't have time to read the whole thing. I'm only got a minute left. Woman swindles mother out of $139 million in a masterpiece in a bizarre con involving a psychic, police say. Police in Rio de Janeiro on Wednesday were seeking the arrest of 6 people accused of involvement in stealing 16 artworks together valued at more than 700 million Rias, or 139 million US dollars, some of which were recovered. Police said in a statement that the group stole the works from an 8-year-old widow who had been married to an art collector and dealer. The haul included museum quality, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get to the psychic part. Where is it? I'm running out of time. The theft was orchestrated by the daughter, according to the statement, which didn't provide either of their names. The daughter was among those arrested Wednesday, according to local media, which also showed images of the woman attempting to escape through a window as police arrived. Where's the part about the psychic? I should have got the shorter article. I got the long one on here, darn it. Basically, they got a psychic to get involved, and somebody claiming to be a psychic and convince this poor 82-year-old woman basically to give up these paintings to them. Yeah, big money on that one. That's a big haul. I'm sure I don't know how much the fake psychic got out of it. I'm just saying I want your guys' minds open to a lot of things on the show, but always be cautious and always ask questions. Don't give out too much information to a psychic. They got to get it. You can, if they say, well, you got to give me a question, I understand that, or give me a little bit of something, fine. But just remember that, and remember what kind of information they give you, and take it, I have to say it, everyone, take it with a grain of salt. And I also, because I believe, especially if it's psychic predictions, take it, listen, look for the signs, but, the future is always in motion. Nobody's God, nobody can know everything. I'm not, I have people ask me, should I go to a psychic? And I'll say, yeah, you can, but you got to be careful and you got to pick the right one. That's what, and it's not easy to do. You could get scammed, and it's sad these poor women were taken like this, especially an 82-year-old woman. Yeah, she had a lot of money, I'm sure, and there was some other stuff going on, but still, it's bad. It's bad for the community, and these people aren't even a part of it. They're just preying on people. But that's it for the World Wide Web Weird tonight. Tonight we have a real psychic, UK clairvoyant, Maurice Amdur, if I'm getting it right, Amdur, on after the short commercial break. But we do have to go to commercial break, and we'll be back. And we'll open up the phone lines later in the show. You can call in. I believe Maurice will do a mini reading for you guys. Like I said, mini. We don't want to take up the whole show with your one reading. But he will, I believe, I remember do some readings tonight. So just hold on for that. But we will have Maurice Amdur hopefully after this short commercial break.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Of the second kind, physical evidence of a UFO. Close encounters of the third kind, contact. From Steven Spielberg, the director of Jaws, comes one of the most ambitious and unusual films ever made. And what you will see has never been seen before. It's a cosmic mystery crossing what many scientists believe will be the next threshold of human experience. It is called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It begins in an Indiana town and leads to one inescapable conclusion. We are not alone. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Certificate A, now showing at the Odeon, Leicester Square.
The international chart-topping, Haunted, Horror of Haverfordwest has been described as terrifyingly real, a must-read, shocking and chilling brilliance, genuinely worrying, utterly frightening. Don't read before bed. Described as one of the spookiest writers out there, best-selling author G.L. Davies presents Haunted, Horror of Haverfordwest, the true paranormal account that is shocking the world. Dare you enter? Dare you read? Haunted, Horror of Haverfordwest is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and wherever books are sold. Pray you never have to live there.
This is the sound of a space clock aboard a U.S. satellite 180 miles above the Earth. No one winds up this timepiece. It's powered by a tiny battery, a battery that delivers power for years without replacement. Now the same type of battery, the Duracell battery, can bring new reliability and long life to your battery-operated equipment. Radios, cameras, toys, all run far longer. Duracell batteries, the long-distance power cells, outlast any ordinary battery. The same type of battery that keeps space clocks running for years can bring long life to anything powered by batteries. Dura, as in durable. Cell, as in power cell. The Duracell battery, made by Mallory.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is UK clairvoyant Maurice Amdur. I hope I said that right. Medium and clairvoyant, psychic and numerology expert. He has done over 50,000 readings and traveled the world. He's read for royalties, heads of state, movie and music legends. I know I've seen him on some TV interviews before. I knew the name when it came to me. Hopefully, I saw him in the chat room. Saw him there. I saw you there, Maurice, in the chat room. Hopefully, I don't see him in the video calling. So hopefully, Maurice isn't having issues. We can get him in here on the show. So I'm going to get heading on into it. I don't have much else of a bio because we're going to make sure we have our guests for the night. But tonight, hopefully, we'll have guests, UK clairvoyant Maurice Amdur. But let's go ahead and get rolling on into it. Now, like I said, I saw Maurice in the chat room. I saw people saying hi to him, but I don't see him in the waiting room here on StreamYard. Let me check my email. That is weird. Yeah, I don't have any messages from him. I saw him in the chat room. I saw people saying hi. Hi, Maurice. So hopefully we'll have our guest. Looking to see if he's still in the chat room. Houdini. It is UK time for him, I think, so it'll be like 4:30 in the morning. But I saw him there. I saw him in the chat room. But no messages. All right, well, hang in there, guys. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Let me check my other lines in case he was trying on that.
I saw him in YouTube chat.
Yeah, I saw it in the YouTube chat. Checking my different lines right now. Yeah, that is weird. Maurice, if you're out there, if you're having issues joining, you can use one of the Skype lines to call in if we had to, if you can't get the video to work. Maybe he's having issues. He is all the way over in UK, but I don't see anything on Skype. I don't see an email. Let me check my email again. This is a new one. I don't usually have an issue if I see the guests in the chat room. They're usually... It's because they didn't forget the kid. They might be having a technical issue. But so far, I'm not seeing anything. Let me see. I'll send an email. Let's see. Are you having technical issues? Don't. Nothing yet. All right, just hang in there, guys. Hopefully we'll get the guests. Like I said, I saw him. Okay, you can give him my phone number in this email. Just hang in there, guys, especially a radio audience really doesn't know what's going on. But we're supposed to have Maurice Amdur. I saw him in the YouTube chat room. Our Skype ID. Let me do Skype ID. All right, email sent to him. Hopefully, if he's having technical issues, I give him a couple backups. We'd have to do audio only. Have you seen him again in the chat room at all?
Negative.
That is weird. That is weird. I know I saw him. I'm going back. I just saw the hi. That's the guest.
Maybe I was going to say maybe he's trying to get something set up all of a sudden, like a camera.
Yeah, so I wonder if he's having technical issues. You know, I don't like pressure guests that are in the UK to do sound checks or video checks, or any guests I don't pressure. I love it when they do sound check because then I know it's going to work right. But when it's UK, I get it. You know, you got to get up at 4:30. I can get up any earlier just to make sure it works. Well, what can we talk about? Well, we wait and see. Might be a short show tonight, and I will say for those watching now, just in case you're not making to the end of the show, how long the show will be tonight. Next week, I don't know if I'm going to have a show. I have some guest issues rescheduling for that one, and it's like the first Monday I got to get up to take my kids to school, and I got to get used to that routine. So I might take a break because I am booked with guests all the way in the end of till November. I think is where I'm booked up with guests. So I won't have any Sundays without a guest, except for maybe one or two I saved for ITC. I know I'd saved the Halloween show. Or Halloween's Eve. Me and Jamie were looking at it's going to be the day before Halloween. We'll have our Halloween show or Halloween's Eve show. And we'll do live ITC and hopefully get Katrina Cooper, friend and medium, great medium, and Rhodey Speak on for the Halloween show. Hopefully, I get it all. I have it all on me. I get Jamie up here.
How is it Halloween almost already again?
That's what Jamie and me were saying before the show. It's like this: the kids go back to school Wednesday. I know we're not talking about paranormal stuff. I'm waiting to see if the guest calls in or gets me. Maybe I scared him off with the. If you're listening, Maurice, I was talking about psychic frauds, but I'm not talking about you. You maybe joined the right brother. I wasn't talking about you. We are living in like I was talking with a coworker today. The new metaphysical store in her town opened up, and it's like really booming. And I always say when things get crazy, like the world starts to really get weird and there's, the economy goes to crap, people turn to these things. Look at the Depression times. People really did the spirituality movement in the early 1900s, especially during the Depression time. Like the Fox sisters and everything like that, that stuff took off. I think people start asking the bigger questions when life starts to crunch and get strange or pressure.
Start reaching out for more answers beyond their self.
And now we have social media and the internet, and it's a lot easier for people to prey upon that, And I feel bad for those two women in both those articles. Even if the 82-year-old woman has millions of dollars, whatever, it's still awful. It was a family member that did it to her. Said it was a daughter. It's horrible. I mean, money can turn people evil. That's for sure. Well, we'll see. I'll give it a little bit longer. Like I said, we might cut the show early tonight because I don't have any other plans. Could take a couple phone calls and then we might call it early if I don't have the guest. Maybe I scared him off. I don't know.
I actually did think that for a split second. I thought, I hope he's not thinking this has anything to do with him, but in any way.
Yeah, no.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Oh, well, we'll see. We'll give it a little bit longer to see. Trying to think. There was a couple things I saw recently. I was trying to think what I cut out of the World Wide Web of Weird we could talk about a little bit, too. Damn, nope, go back to that. No, that. There we go. Go up. I don't have this. I see I don't have it saved to the thing. So a scientist shares image of Proxima Centauri. Turns out to be a sausage.
It's a
you see that one?
Chorizo. It's a sausage.
Yeah, that's one I cut from the World Wide Web because I had all the ghost stuff, and I did, like I said, I was just talking this morning with somebody about the whole psychic thing and people's interest in it, but I thought this was a funny one. Prominent scientist was forced to apologize after posting photos of some sausage and claiming that it was a star. It does kind of look like it could be. I don't have it. You can go to Unexplained Mysteries for it. There's one group of people who tend to look up to when it comes to telling the truth. It's astrophysicists, which is why the latest prank pulled by a French scientist, Etienne Klein, director of research at the France Atomic Energy Commission, didn't go down particularly well. Started on July 31st when Klein posted a photograph on his Twitter account showing that he claimed to be the photograph of Proxima Centauri taken by the James Webb Space Telescope. Photo of Proxima Centauri, the closest to the star of the sun, located 4.2 light years from us, he wrote. It was taken by the JWST. This level of detail of New World is revealing itself day by day. Yeah, he was bored. This problem. Evils of social media. Got bored. Did something stupid. Oh, I got an email from Maurice. Let's see. Oh, he goes to voice message system. He's trying to call in.
Oh.
All right, hold on. See, I asked him if he was going to come on by video call or by phone. He didn't answer, and I thought, okay, he's just coming on by video call because I needed to know if he was doing audio. That's why, because I have it on Do Not Disturb, so it doesn't disturb me while I'm having the guest on until I open up the phone lines. Let me pull this up. Let me see. I don't know which line he's calling in on either, because I'm guessing he's just getting that from the show description. Or he, oh, here it is. So he's trying to call this one. It's because I gave him my phone number. Let me call him back. United Kingdom. Oh, luckily it's a cell phone. Oh, we got a call started. Accept. Hold on. Trying to connect to him here. Did not plan this way.
Okay, no problem.
Are you there, Maurice?
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm here. Good morning. Nice to meet you.
Good morning. Let me turn you up. Sorry.
Good evening.
Sorry. We had a little technical problems.
It's all right.
Luckily, I saw you in the chat room.
Now, you saw me in the chat room?
Yeah, I was like, otherwise I was like, oh, I don't know if I scared him away.
I'm doing a radio show. Please, thank you. Go on, you were saying?
Oh, no, that's just saying, I was just wondering, because I didn't know if you were joining by the video call, by the link I gave you for StreamYard, or if you were calling in.
I tried to do that, but unfortunately I couldn't connect.
Oh, with the video
I tried every which way.
Huh.
Yes. I'm quite happy to do video.
Oh, darn it. Yeah, I can't do it except for that. But we can have you on by phone. I have the other phone line I can use tonight for people to call in.
Whichever way you want to do it is just fine.
Okay. Well, thank you, Maurice. Sorry about all the delay on that. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. I want you to tell the audience.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure.
I want you to tell the audience a little bit, more about yourself. How did this life for you begin, becoming a clairvoyant?
Well, it started in childhood. Where I began being a psychic. Excuse me one second. I'm on a radio show. Just close your window and leave me alone, please. I'll call the police to go away. Hi, right. So, as I was saying, I started being a psychic as a child around the age of 4. I think I always had the ability, but around the age of 4 was the time that I first experienced psychic messages or whatever.
Yeah.
And I used to say things, and they were really stupid things, like, to my mother, oh, Uncle died, and she'd look at me like I'm nuts, and then, of course, the phone would ring, Uncle had passed away, that sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
So it was really, it started there, I think we are all born with psychic capacity and psychic ability. There's no question at all that we all have ability and we all have capacity. Absolutely none. The whole world, everyone born, everyone alive has these abilities. Some are more in tune with it than others. You could speak to anyone and they'll tell you that they've heard the phone ring, or they thought the phone was going to ring and then it has.
Right.
Or they're thinking about a friend and they call. There's many different levels. Or they felt bad that someone had passed, they could feel it. They didn't understand what the feeling was, and then the phone rang. Do you know what I'm talking about? We've all got these abilities. Sometimes people see elements of the future and they think, oh, where did that come from? They don't call themselves psychic, but they have those abilities. I think all humans and all animals have some kind of sentience that allows them to open and connect with the universal energy pot, as it were.
I call it the Force, but
so,
yeah.
Yeah, well, you could call it the Force, get your lightsaber out and all that. But what I'm talking about is this energy of being able to know things or feel things. For me, it's been visions, voices, etc. And I've always had these abilities. And the point being that I've always had these abilities and I've always used these skills. But initially, obviously, as a child, I didn't know what they were. Now I do, and have been professionally reading for over 40 years. Can you hear this imbecile? I live in a muse, and there's a raving lunatic opposite who's got a problem. Can you hear him? He's insane.
Yeah, I hear him.
He's mad. I'm in my living room. The point is, anyway, that sometimes you get in London these days. We have a lot of immigration, and a lot of the people live under a very different code than. Can you hear me shouting?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's insane. I'm actually in my living room. Anyway, so the point being that as a child, one had these skills and these abilities, and they came through. Now, I think everybody has different levels of psychic ability at all different ages, and all different levels of capacity. Now, because I've worked with a lot of celebrity, a lot of successful people in business, and of course, Mr. and Mrs. Average from all over the place, I found that there's definitely an issue with people having capacity, but not necessarily realizing that they are, in fact, what some others would term psychic.
Right.
Because sometimes, especially when I was a child, I used to say things that people, well, how did I know them? But I didn't think I was different than anyone else, and used to have problems at school with it. Teachers didn't like me being a bit of a, one might call a know-it-all.
But you just knew.
Well, yeah, and I don't know how. And then later on, before I was working professionally, but still telling people things, in my teens, I didn't realize the information I was giving was any different in a conversation than anyone else. But of course, the way one started was that people kept coming along and constantly asking for more and more information, saying, let's discuss this or that, because, what you told me was interesting to me. And then eventually they'd say, well, what you told me came true. And of course, I thought everybody's conversations were like that, even when I was a child in school. So I remember being in school I was probably 5, and the teacher was nasty to me. And I turned around and said, well, don't have a go at me because your boyfriend just dumped you. Or words similar to that effect. And of course, her boyfriend had just dumped her, and that is why she was having a go. So, I was called into the headmistress' office, and I said, well, nobody told me this. I just felt it in my head. And of course, that caused a lot of problems. Also, my mother and father didn't like me knowing all of their secrets, shall we say, at that time. It's all been throughout the years, different things. As an adult or a late teenager, it became my work because so many people were calling me for me to help them. But in the end, it became most important to charge because I had no time for me.
Right.
Not breathe, no time. When you're being called at, all hours of the day or night to chat about something by people that you hardly know. In the end, I started by saying, well, look, I'm quite happy to talk to you, but I want £10, which back then was equivalent of, say, 300 today or more. And then suddenly they'd pay it, like, without question. So I thought, oh, this is interesting. And it wasn't that I'm not spiritual, but, when you're speaking to 10 people in a day, you're tired. You've had enough of it. So that was then. And I continued on from that, and I traveled the world. And then, you get these calls from people saying, oh, hi, can I come and see you? And, you just think it's a regular person. They've got a big name or something, like it's some name you've heard in the media. And then when they knock on the door and you let them in, it's them. And I mean, it's your hero or heroes or the pop star you love or whatever, and you're quite shocked. But I learned to be professional over time, but it really was quite shocking stuff, over the years when it happened, especially in the very early days, because some of my biggest heroes came to readings, and I had no idea it was going to be them.
They come anonymously, basically?
Not honestly, I didn't think it was them. Look, for example, if someone said, hypothetically, it's Mr. Moore here, or it's Mr. Moore here, and then they said they're going to come and see you, and they walk through the door and it's Roger Moore, what are you going to say?
Roger Moore?
You're 19 years old. That's an example.
Oh, that would be a big one. Hey, Maurice, can I ask you something?
Well, that was bigger than that, but that's the point.
Yeah.
That was the sort of thing that would happen, because in that industry of being a reader, the word gets around. I was in drama school and stuff anyway, but the word got around. And so people called me that I couldn't believe that I would ever have met.
Can I noticed you have a Skype. You were trying to contact me on Skype, because I might want to switch you over because you're a little muddled on the phone line, because it's a phone line or cell signal.
Well, you're more than welcome. I mean, everything's working.
I see it. I think I have it here. It says I could start a call. Can I hang up and try to call you on Skype?
Sure, with pleasure.
Yeah. See if we can get a little bit clearer audio, because the audience is having a hard time hearing you. So it might be a little bit clearer on there.
So sorry.
No, it's all right. All right. Yeah, no problem. I'm going to call you right now on Skype. I'm going to hang up. Okay, let me try him on Skype, because I know it's hard to hear him. Hopefully we don't hear his the neighbor there that's giving him trouble. Let me go back to Skype. I just had it. Dang.
I just hope he's safe and that guy doesn't jump through the window.
I know. All right, start call. Start now, yes. Is it calling him, or is it just making a group call? No, call him. Let's end that. Let me see. Ring this group. There we go. Call in Maurice. There we go.
Hi.
There we go.
Hi.
Hi. Won't have you on video. You don't have to have your video on. Sadly, I only can have video through the StreamYard. So you can go ahead and shut your video off. That way we can. But the audio sounds better, I think.
Okay, great. Yeah, sorry. What happened was I was sitting in a specific position on my balcony, and I live in a mews in London.
Yeah.
Mews are quite small, and for some reason, this guy, considering their whole parties sometimes make a lot of noise, he was shouting and screaming like a madman. But it is what it is. I am actually moving shortly because I've been in this place well over 30 years, and London has changed terribly. It's not London anymore.
Yeah.
It's a very, very different city. It's quite shocking, in fact. I would say that I feel much more England whenever I'm abroad. It's very sad.
Yeah,
I don't know if
if
you've
that's
heard
been
of
your
anyone
home,
else.
that is sad. If that's been your home.
Well, I was born in England.
Yeah.
In London, but the London I know, obviously, I'm approaching 58 this week.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. It's the 21st. But it has changed beyond any kind of recognition. In fact, it reminds me of another change, which is when I was a child, psychics were far and few between. And then as we entered the age of Aquarius in the late 90s, early 2000s, everybody and his wife is a psychic. Of course, they're all fake. But everybody and his wife says they're a psychic. When I was young, I was about 18, 19, 22, something like that, to find a psychic person was very hard.
Yeah.
You'd have to go on recommendation. You would search high and low to find someone who had a skill set. And then as the age of Aquarius dawned, suddenly people everywhere were calling themselves psychic, and a lot of phone lines and different things ripping people off. What was interesting, there's a terrific movie directed by Clint Eastwood and starring Matt Damon. Let me remember what it's called.
I think I know.
Is it Afterlife?
Hereafter?
You know the one? Hereafter. Thank
Hereafter.
You,
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Now, I think it's an exceptional movie, and it actually describes me perfectly.
Really?
Because I'm that guy. Because over the years, the Matt Damon character, over the years, it has interfered in relationships. The worst thing you can do is tell a girl, do a reading for a woman, whatever, because then she doesn't have her guard, she can't lie.
Yeah, nobody likes feeling like you can look inside to them. That's the feeling people sometimes get.
Pardon the pun, but yes. It certainly was...
there's one inside and there's the other they don't like.
That's it, yeah. Now, what I mean is the thing is that when one was... in my early dating days, it got around that I could do this, and girls want to know stuff. And actually, to my detriment, one time, a very beautiful girl had come back to my home, not here, another place I lived, and in Highgate, which is North London. And I gave her a reading, and I ended up telling her about the guy she was going to end up going out with and marrying.
Well, that's not good for the dating service.
I was gonna say I sabotaged my own evening.
Right.
But of course, she did meet him and she did marry him, and that was quite a weird evening. And then I've done lots of stuff like that. There was a singer called Rachel Stevens from a band called S Club 7, but she was famous in her own right. And when she was about 15, I told her when I was having a coffee somewhere that she was going to be a famous singer. I've done lots of things like that with people in the middle of the street or introduced to me, and then of course I've seen people in private session. But the list is endless.
And these are the things that just like you're talking to somebody that you just have like a knowing, like you're feeling the vibe, and you get this knowing of their future.
I get feelings. I get feelings. I get voices in my head. I get visions. I have clairvoyant visions. You see, clairvoyance is hearing. Clairaudient is hearing. Clairvoyant is seeing. Clairsentient is feeling. I have all those capacities,
so you get
and
all
I never
the
know
sensories.
I never know which way it's going to come in. I never know how I'm going to get the messages or what they're going to be like. I remember being in a coffee shop in a place called St John's Wood where I live on the High Street. It's a very nice area. And I had gone there because I'd broken up with my fiancée at the time. And I thought that she might come in that coffee shop. But what actually happened was a very beautiful model came in and sat down next to me, and we ended up chatting. And then I blacked out and told her whole future.
But you don't remember what you said?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I remember what I said, but I blacked out for a few moments watching her life in my head. And that was one of the first times it happened at that level. And she said, nobody seemed to be able to wake you because I seemed to be in my own world for about, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Felt like a lot longer, actually, because I was watching this life in front of me. Anyway, her name was Caprice, and I said that she would be famous for no reason. And a few weeks later, she presented on the British Academy Awards, the BAFTAs, and then she got the California Raisins campaign, and then she became a supermodel here in England, and very, very successful at the time. This was back in the early 90s, and she'd not done any work. She'd been very unlucky. So that was accurate. And then I remember telling Mickey Rourke, which is a bigger one, in Argo, I knew him socially anyway at the time. I said, you know, you've got another shot, a very, very big shot to come back all the way. And he said, really, man? I said, yes. I said, there's a huge film role imminent. And if you just stay relaxed this time, it's all yours. You know, you can go right back up to top A-list.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, it's something to do with wrestling.
Yeah, that was
and
it.
He got the wrestler. The same time, at the exact same time, I got another moment where who was it I told? 1 minute, sorry, so I'm just trying to dial in. It's ridiculous. Let me go back to what I was thinking.
It is really early in the morning for you, so I totally understand.
No, I do apologize. It's not me. There was somebody trying to call. I don't know who they would be. But let me go back to where I was. So we were doing the one about Mickey Rourke, which is true.
Yeah.
Now my dogs are playing with the noisiest toys ever. Stop it. Right. I've got to lock them out because otherwise I just won't get a minute's peace. I rescued second doggy a few weeks ago. He's absolutely beautiful. Okay. He's a French bulldog. I've got a frog who's sitting under my chair, who's adorable, called Bonnie, and a French bulldog called Sharky. But Sharky, because he's awake, instead of them sleeping, being good children like I'd like them to be, they're deciding to play. Now, I was telling you about particular. I had turned around back in early 1981, 82 in Spain and told Sean Connery to go and do the Bond film and be Bond again, and that way he could win an Oscar.
Yeah.
And I was only a kid, and he said, you know, why should I do that? I don't want to do that. And I said to him, well, you bloody well should. And
huge Sean Connery fan here.
Yeah, well, I think everybody is. But so if you think about it, at the time when he did Never Say Never Again, which he owned part of, back in 81, it wasn't together. It was a script called Warhead, I believe. But anyway, point was I mentioned to him, having just bumped into him as a kid, that he should be James Bond again. And he said, that's all behind me or whatever. And but the point was that he did it, and that comeback created the rest of his career. Because when he came back as Bond, not long after that was The Untouchables, etc. And he went from being an temporarily unbankable star to being the biggest star in the world for years.
Oh,
you know, but there was a more recent prediction that, so I did Mickey Rourke. I'm trying to remember who the other one was. There's been so many, my brain's gone dead.
I remember seeing, I was doing some research on you did Catherine Zeta-Jones marrying Michael Douglas.
Yes, I did that one. Basically, a London newspaper came down. I'd met both of them at different times over the years, whatever, but a London newspaper came down to do an article taking the mickey out of sightings, which means, you know, making idiots of them. But I didn't know they were trying to make fools of that they saw, but they saw me. So I gave them a number of predictions. One was that Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor of California. The next one was that Brad Pitt would marry Angelina Jolie. It was all on the same day. And then I said, they said, what about Catherine Zeta-Jones? Because at that time, she'd broken up with a fellow called John Leslie, who was a rather nice radio presenter who got in a lot of trouble over here. I think most of it wasn't real. I think he's completely innocent. But anyway, the point is that they've broken up, not because of that. But I said, Catherine Zeta-Jones, yes. She's going to go out to America, become a huge movie star and marry Michael Douglas. And that was not what they wanted to hear at all, because the press at that time really didn't like her. Ooh. And so, of course, temporarily in England, in England, they love, I think in America too, they love to build people up all the way and then bring them all the way back down again. Yes. That seems to be something that happens a lot.
South Park has a great episode on that whole thing.
Well, that is exactly how it works.
Yeah.
In
the media.
In the media. Yeah. What they do is they get hold of someone. It's like after they basically caused Michael Jackson to commit suicide, if in fact he did, after that, everybody mourns and misses him. While he was actually alive, nobody would leave him alone for 2 minutes, because the press will never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Never. They lie all the time. They make it all up all the time.
Yep.
It's insane. And as a psychic person who's known a lot of these famous people, and also someone who can actually see genuine outcome and the truth behind who these media sensations are, it's really something to observe. You know, they create and build people. When I was a kid, I'm quite a well-built, stocky sort of fellow. I'm about 5'10" and a half, about 200 pounds. And when I was 18, I was in a nightclub called the Roof Gardens. And the press came over and offered me £5,000 to hit George Michael and Andy Ridley, now who were Wham. I had no interest in that at all, and they picked the wrong sort of person to make an offer like that. But 5 minutes later, George and Andrew hit each other. They didn't really hit each other. They just took photographs of them, because they both went and got nose jobs the next day, just before becoming Wham. That was my first experience.
So wait. They were trying to get you to hit them in the nose so they could say they broke their nose.
That's it. They asked 3 or 4 guys looking like me. I was one of them. Who looked good and were nicely dressed, that they could put in an article. And the idea was, you know, that we'd have walloped George Michael. Of course, the bigger story at the time, not that there was anything wrong with it at all, was that anyone who had ever met George, one of the nicest people you could ever meet, was definitely a homosexual. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, believe me. I don't mean it like that at all, but he was. So, you know, and I mean, I think everybody knows now. But the point was that that night I was 18, so it was about 1982, 83. That was my first experience ever of finding out what the press is. So I now don't trust anything they print about anyone, ever.
Right. No, that's a good one. You learn quick there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because also I had the opportunity, again, being this psychic person with intuition and knowing things, I've had the chance to read the newspapers as anyone else does for years and years and years. And then I've had the chance to look at the real story behind it in my mind. And then, of course, the real story often comes out later.
Yeah.
You know, and this is politics. I mean, pretty much everything you ever read is a lie.
Yeah.
You know, they make it up as they go along. And, you know, I mean, Diana was a nice enough person, but she certainly wasn't an earth angel.
Princess Diana?
This woman had her own agenda and was very unbalanced. I knew her extremely well. But, you know, they painted her in the media as if she was an angel from heaven. It was quite interesting to observe. She wasn't a bad person. May she rest in peace. But certainly she was absolutely nothing to do with this image they created.
Well, she's human.
A bit like,
you know, I mean, they make gods out of these celebrities. That's, you know.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They make gods out of people that aren't. And, you know, they also rise them all the way up and then pull them all the way down. It actually, when people die early, like Marilyn Monroe or Diana, they live forever. But the truth of who they were as individuals isn't really out there, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to knock anyone. I find it funny. And, you know, when you tell the media what they don't want to hear, they hate you for it. So, for example, I wrote a long article years ago, back about 2005, all about how Daniel Craig had been cast for Bond and
that was the other one.
James Bond.
I remember this.
Well, that he was going to be the new James Bond.
Right.
And they refused to print it.
They could add a
because
scoop.
It didn't. Yeah, I gave them a scoop 6 months before it was announced.
Yeah.
I said, Daniel's going to have a very layered cake this year. He will be the new 007.
I got a 6-year-old who's very sad now after watching the last James Bond movie because he loves Daniel Craig. I don't know what it is.
I think they just didn't know what to do, really. I mean, they basically reworked on Her Majesty's Secret Service and changed the characters around.
Yeah, I'm a huge Bond fan. You're right. Oh, yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know what they're going to do exactly next because
Henry Cavill is who they're talking about.
I was going to say, let me tell you why they can't use him. You can't have Superman play James Bond at the same time. That's what I thought, too. That's
what my 6-year-old
thought. He also played the man from U.N.C.L.E.
He's also the Witcher.
You know, he's the Witch. Well, Roger Moore was the Saint.
Yeah, Bond. True.
The point is, it's a little tricky. First of all, he's a very stocky built fellow and looks a bit bulky on screen. He really doesn't look like a guy who could move quickly. He looks like a guy who's built But, one of the reasons that Sean Connery was cast, and he told me this story, first of all, it was Cubby Broccoli's wife that pushed Sean Connery more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And he came to meet them for lunch to discuss the possibility. And he took over the lunch because he had this amazing presence and personality. And then, this is a little rude, but it's kind of funny. The idea was that when he left, the wife said he's a very incredibly sexy man. And then they watched him walk away like a panther. And they said to one another, God, he's so masculine. You can hear his balls clang as he walks down the road. And then they cast him. And it was the right decision.
Yes.
But what's interesting is if you watch the Bond movies, they've lost the plot, because you take Daniel Craig, who's a very good actor, but he's very physically small, I
love him as Bond. I did.
Well, he certainly put a different edge on it, but I don't think there's any comparison between him and Sean Connery.
No, I'm a Sean Connery. I'll tell you right now, I am a Sean Connery James Bond fan. That's my James Bond.
But it's not just as James. Well, I knew Sean, and you're talking about a man who was around 6'3", 6'4", about 240 pounds, built like a brick outhouse.
Yeah.
From a tenement in Scotland, who would be quite happy to fight half a dozen men in real life. And Daniel, when you meet him, has rather large ears, small little blue eyes, and is built up on steroids. He's a great actor, but I don't think he was particularly great in the role. But, people loved him. And, of course, they could use a blind black midget to play James Bond with the amount of marketing they do. You've got to understand, they spend more than the budget of the movie on the marketing of each film. So, for example, when you go... When a Bond film is about to come out, you go to the bank, there's an article about it. You go to the pharmacy, there's an article about it. You go to the car rental agency, there's an article about it. You read the newspaper, there's an article about it. You're watching a dentistry program and it comes on about James Bond. What I mean is they push it. So it could be anyone. It doesn't make any difference. It's a media marketing dynamic beyond the beyond. So they literally could do anything they want. When it comes to movies now, it's a formula, Now, as he said, Martin Scorsese said recently, these are just comics. They're not films. Well, he wasn't entirely wrong, because they're not fresh scripts. They're just comics. All the Avengers movies, they're not too bad. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is amazing in them, but they're just comics.
Yeah.
There's a big shift in what. Also, they want to dumb everybody down. They don't want people thinking too much.
That I agree with 100%.
That's it. So what they're doing. The movie business and the music business is now owned and designed to keep people not thinking. It's the whole idea.
I agree.
Is to keep the whole globe down. That way, you're not thinking about what's really going on and the agenda of whatever is the power that runs everything. I used to read for different presidents of the United States because I was very close friends with a fellow called Sumner Redstone for a very long time, and they used to phone him for advice, and then he said that I might give even better advice than him. And so I used to speak to a lot of them, and that's when I realized that the presidency may not be real, in the sense that it's a figure. It's a figurehead. It's a bit like a dog walker and a dog. The dog is being walked by the owner, unless you've got one like that who's rather strong. The reality is the owner of the dog is responsible. And when it comes to the president, it might as well be a little puppy on a leash.
Well, it's not just the president. I don't want to get into politics, but I'll just say I've said it a billion times that to get in any of those positions of power, not just presidency in the Senate or the Congress of the United States or however it works in the UK, you got to sell your soul. You got to sell your soul to get there. You're owned by somebody.
But it seems to me that the money source, the power of money in the world is what's in control. The power of money and whatever's going to make the most money or whoever's making the most money is what makes the decisions. Because when they used to phone Sumner, it was always about the right financial move, the right move they should make for money. I'm sorry, but that's what I experienced, and I didn't find any spirituality in any of that, in any of those conversations. In fact, I don't think any of them cared about who got killed or what happened anywhere, as long as it suited their dynamic. I'm sorry to say that, but that's what I experienced.
Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that. Now, I also, I see, I've read that you're expert in numerology, and that you knew Sylvester Stallone's mom, who was a psychic and numerologist.
Oh, she was, I would say, the greatest psychic I've ever met. I'll tell you what happened. I lived in Los Angeles for a long time, and one evening I was at a dinner party, and she was there. Now, people don't believe this, but actually she was a stunningly beautiful woman when she was younger. I met her when she was already in her 60s. She died in her late 90s, almost 100. But she was very, very attractive and interesting, engaging lady. Not how they purported her on one or two chat shows, but actually a fascinating woman.
Yeah.
But what happened was I became friendly with because I'm a psychic and I read for her, but she also read for me. And, you know, this woman was, in my opinion, one of the most talented astrologer, psychic people ever to walk this planet. Virtually equal to, say, Michel de Nostradamus.
I've
And
had
funnily,
another
they're both
guest on
under- both
here
under the-
say the same thing about her, and I'm trying to remember who it was, but somebody else knew her and said about the same words about Sylvester Stallone's mother, that she was incredible.
Well, she was incredible, and you know, she was November 29th, 1921. That was her birthday, which means she was a Sagittarius, the same as Michel de Nostradamus. I'm actually a Leo. But I would say that what she told me was phenomenal and shocking and accurate. Now, I tell people accurate things, but it was the way she did it. And I remember we used to bump into one another quite a lot in LA, and she'd say, "You've got to lose weight. It's too overweight." And I wasn't even fat at the time, but she liked the way that Sylvester had put himself for Rocky 3. You know, and I did actually train with those guys, and it was very hard. I got there, but it takes a lot of work and dietary restriction. And, you know, she was super fit. So she had been a gymnast and also a circus performer, you know, going up on the ropes.
Yeah.
So she used to invert every morning and she used to train every day. And a little fact that may or may not be known by your audience is that Sylvester grew up in a house where Charles Atlas lived with them. 4 years.
Really?
That's why he's in the shape he's in. Oh, yes, when he was a little boy, she had a gym for women and other things, wrestling things, all sorts of things that she did as well as her readings. And she had Charles Atlas, who then was the pre-Schwarzenegger bodybuilder of the world, you know, and he lived with them. And he taught Sylvester initially how to get fit. So I thought that was a nice little snippet.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, Sylvester has a brother called Frank, who's mega talented. And I'd met him long before I met his mother. In fact, I met him in a nightclub when I was 16 amongst another group of people. He would have been about, 23 or 24. But at 16, I looked 35. And he was just so pleasant. And then I said to him, you know, you look like Sylvester Stallone. He said, well, I'm his brother.
Yeah.
I said, oh, wow, okay. And then later on I met Sylvester. But I remember that. But he was so nice. Sylvester's really nice too. I think Sylvester's a gifted clairvoyant person himself. You know, everything you ever see him in, he's written it himself.
Yeah.
You've got to be pretty in tune to come up with some of the great lines that he's come up with. I mean, one of my favorites, I think it's Rocky 6. He says, nothing will hit you as hard as life. But the secret is to get up and keep moving forward no matter how hard they hit you. And of course, it's true. You know, because, I mean, every word in those movies is him. And he now does a lot of these motivational videos on Facebook and on YouTube. He's not charging anybody. He just helps people all the time.
Yeah.
This man's a genius. He's Cancerian, Moon Libra, and Moon Libra are very sensitive. Interestingly, Sean Connery was Moon Libra too. Moon Libra often makes people very physically attractive, male or female. The moon is a very important part of the chart as well. You know, one of the reasons that sometimes people read the newspaper and get disappointed in astrology is because they look and they just look at their sun sign. But each of us are born with 12 different planets representing our birth chart. And, you know, there's the sun, the moon, the ascendant, and there's your Mars and Venus, and so it goes on. But the most important are the sun and the moon often represents, the ascendant represents what you might physically look like. But the moon is really the real person living in the body.
The soul.
So who they really are and what they're really like. So, you know, you would get a slightly different view on astrology if you were reading your moon sign.
So
most people like their sun sign.
I don't even know what my moon sign is. I just know I'm a Gemini.
When is your birthday? I mean, I could look it up.
June 10th, 1979.
Okay, you share your birthday with Liz Hurley and Prince Philip, who passed away. That's the first two I could think of. And, you know, you're in the middle there. You're a second stroke, third decant Cancerian. Did you say the year again? I'm so sorry.
1979.
79 is the goat, Chinese goat. And I'll just tell you where your moon is positioned. I just need to get some bright light with my glasses. Being 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm delighted to speak to you, and I enjoy it. But Just not as sharp as I'd like to be.
I don't blame you.
Let's see. Hold on. Right. Your moon is in, according to this, in Sagittarius or Capricorn. I'll tell you exactly in a second. Just the writing's a little small. Hold on. There's quite a difference, actually, Sagittarius or Capricorn. Your moon is in Capricorn. Now, the moon in moon is in Capricorn. Now, so you've got an air sign, which is Gemini, for your sun sign, and then your moon is Capricorn. Now, the moon in Capricorn gives you a lot of different abilities than a standard Capricorn, but it also tends to slow your life down. So you might have found that some of the things you wanted took longer than you would have liked. You know, it's a delay planet. It also gives you control and manipulation of others, but not in a bad way. And it also makes you someone who likes to do an awful lot of research and is extremely clever. It can badly affect your digestion, though, as well. Gemini sometimes gets tummy problems and skin problems. But
I got both.
I know. And with the moon in Capricorn, that would really make certain things indigestible for you.
Okay.
But saying that, June 10th people tend to have incredibly long lives, and they're very, very clever indeed. And this year, let's have a look. Well, I think you've had a rough patch behind you. Last year doesn't feel very nice. But now you're really solidly laying the foundations and pushing forward. And next year is absolutely superb with a lot of tremendous unexpected opportunity. I do want to go back 4 or 5 years ago. You don't mind me reading you in public?
No, we got 5 minutes before commercial break. So
okay. Well, 4 or 5 years ago, I feel your life fell apart and you had to reboot it from top to bottom. I feel the veil was lifted and you saw things in a very different way. About 5 years ago. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah. I had a... Well, it's more like 7 years ago, maybe.
Well, 7 years ago was a disappointment and a breakup of a situation. I'm talking about after. Yeah, it's a breakup of the situation. You split from that job. But I'm talking about after that. It seems to me you had to rethink every aspect of your life, reboot and start over in a whole fresh way. And I feel that's been going on about 4 years. But the rewards of all that work are next year. Tremendous rewards are in front of you.
Okay.
Both financial, emotional, and even fame and glory.
Okay, I'll take financial. I never wanted to be famous. Like I you know, you hear your stories of the famous people and stuff, and like exactly what the media does to them. I would never want that. I would never ever want that. I like the money.
Well, I get the idea that you had to grow up early. It feels like you knew what you wanted, but you had to grow up early. Quite a lot of responsibility was placed upon you when you were young, I feel. And I think the fame part's unstoppable. I think you will have an increase in 2023 on every level. I feel that's unstoppable. But I feel you knew what you wanted, but I think emotionally you were forced to be grown up before you were ready. Does that resonate also?
Yeah. That I'm a kid at heart. I'm a kid at heart, but yes. Yes, it does.
I don't think you had the chance to be a kid for too long. I get the feeling you had to take responsibility and were placed in a position where you had to be an adult long before you were ready or wanted to.
There's a couple situations, a little bit maybe. I feel like, I had a lot better childhood than a lot of people I know.
Oh, I'm not knocking your childhood, but I'm talking about the journey and the path that's been placed for you. And it feels to me like it's made you a better man. But I would say that it feels like there were moments where you had to act like a man before you were ready.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, and now there's rewards coming for that. Because I don't think your life has been all easy. I don't think anyone's is, but you're quite a sensitive chap, and your mind is extremely powerful, but it changes a lot. Gemini tend to think, rethink, reorganize, replan constantly. They're very powerful. They ask and answer questions in their own mind and change their mind a lot. And as I said earlier, the old skin, the skin of a Gemini sometimes gets dry or rashy because they wind themselves up so much, and also the digestion and the food limitations. However, some Geminis can eat incredible amounts of food without getting fat.
I had that ability back in the day. I sure did. Yeah, it's something amazing
when you see it. I mean, I observe people and have done this work and observing and trying to understand it for so many years. But one of the things that blew me away was how much Geminis could eat without getting fat.
Yeah, I
think it's
not
'cause
that
there's-
long ago, actually. I was still eating real bad and eating too much, and I've actually put myself like kind of more of a better diet lately. But
yeah, but what was incredible was that they consume these enormous amounts of food but don't actually get fat. I think it's the brain working overtime.
I've wondered
because
that.
it's certainly incredible. I mean, other signs. I used to date a Gemini lady called Debbie. It's a long, long time ago, and we'd go for sushi. She'd eat about 20 times what I eat, and was skinny, and then eat ice cream and chocolates and anything you could think of.
Yeah,
You
I was just saying to my wife the other day, I'm like, remember when we used to eat? She's a Libra, but I said, you remember when we used to eat?
Match.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've always had a thing for Libras, and I was like, remember when I used to be able to eat like two of these Big Macs or two of these quarter pounds? I can't even eat McDonald's hardly now. I can't even eat that stuff at all. But I used to just down that stuff and nothing.
I'm a naughty boy. I had it for lunch yesterday, but because they deliver it here. But do you know what's interesting? That Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra are the three air signs, and the perfect match for an air sign is another air sign. Obviously, moon positions are important too, but Libra also. Both the men and the women tend to be the prettiest of the zodiac, Libras. I'm not saying there aren't good-looking people of all signs, but Libra tend to have the edge.
Well, my wife is very pretty. She's a very beautiful woman. So,
well, sorry.
I would say we got to go to commercial break, and then are you good?
No worries.
I didn't get to ask, but I saw the notes and that. You good with taking calls tonight, short readings?
Yeah, with pleasure. Sure, let's do it.
All right, sure. Awesome. We'll talk more too. I mean, sorry about all the mess up at the beginning, Maurice. Sorry, sometimes
no problem
technical
at all.
difficulties.
No problem at all. Do you know this raving lunatic is still having a go now, even though my door is closed? God, he's mad. He just can't give it up.
That's what happens on a live show, but I love doing it live. All right, guys, we're going to go to commercial break with our guest, Maurice Amdur. He's a UK clairvoyant. We're going to take your phone calls when we come back from the short commercial break. And yes, you can get a mini reading from Maurice tonight. We'll let him give out whatever his stipulations are for a reading and all that. But we will open the phone lines after the short commercial break.
into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign-up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope.
That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom. where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do voices from beyond the cold case files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherry Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift, a refreshing and fun read. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
Edgar Allan Poe wrote Spirits of the Dead with a pen dipped in warm blood. You will see the ultimate in terror with this important all-star cast. Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda in Edgar Allan Poe's Spirits of the Dead. Only Poe's demented genius could bring to the screen such horror and evil. Spirits of the Dead stars Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda. Directed by three masters of the cinema, Federico Fellini, Louis Malle, and Roger Vadim. Spirits of the Dead is an adventure in terror beyond your wildest nightmares. Spirits of the Dead in color is rated R.
The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly. It is, it's 42. It would have been simpler, of course, to have known what the actual question was.
But it was the question. The ultimate question. Of everything.
That's not a question. Only when you know the question will you know what the answer means.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, usually I have Rob give the phone lines out, but I got our guest tonight, Maurice Amdur. He's a UK clairvoyant on the one Skype line, so I want to get the right phone lines out to you tonight if you call in. So there's I got an incoming call already. Skype line is oojblandoo, or you can call in at 219-230-4444, and I just seen somebody try to call in. I'll try calling them back, or incoming call. The phone line's already blowing up. I only got the two lines, only one phone, so if I hang up on you, just remember, try calling back. I got one person on the line right now. If I hang up on you, try a different line, because like I said, I got Maurice on the one line. We'll make it work. And then, of course, when you call in for a reading tonight, just remember, it's going to be a short reading. There's only so much Maurice can do in a short reading. We'll get out his information. If you want a reading from him, we'll let him talk about all that tonight. But it's his first time on the show. We had some technical difficulties. We got to get past that, and we're going to keep rolling on with our guest, Maurice Amdur. Let's go ahead and get on into it. I see I got my friend Dan trying to call in. Dan, you're calling in on the wrong line. I know that. Let me send a voicemail. Sorry, Captain there. And let's make sure our guest is still on. You still with us, Maurice?
I'm with you, yeah.
All right. Now, we got somebody on the phone line. Before I bring them on, anything stipulations for the audience?
Only one. Just tell me your birth date. Nothing else. Name and birth date. That's it.
Okay. All right. So let's see who we got online. 325 area code. Who do we got?
My name is Rob.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for calling in.
And thank you. And my birthday is August 26th.
That's interesting. You know, I've got a lot of August 26 clients recently. He's not my client, but Chris Pine is August 26th. And
that's Shirley Manson.
Say it again?
So Shirley Manson.
Oh, Shirley. Oh, I love Shirley Manson.
Yeah, and also, what was the name of that saint, that lady who helped everyone? My brain. Mother Teresa's 26 August as well. She was 26 August. Right. For you, you're going into a better period. You know, the last couple of years have not been sweet. They've been painful and difficult. And you're genuinely elevating from what has been really not very nice. You know, you're a first decant Virgo. And, you know, self-esteem is always an issue for first decant Virgos. But I feel the last couple of years have been extremely tough for you. And I feel that just now you're starting to come out of what was a bit of a nightmare. And I feel the next couple of years are really, really good. I've got a much brighter and easier chapter. Funny, my lawyer's the 26th of August as well. And my dentist is the 26th of August. They're very good at what they do, and they usually have a genius brain that snaps in at the last minute. Do you find that of yourself?
I guess I am kind of like, as far as being creative.
At the last minute, you come up with the solution. You know what I mean? You've got like that mind of yours works on a very high level.
Yeah, see, somebody once told me people with PTSD tend to work better when they're under stress.
I think that's true, but you have the planet Mercury ruling you, and Mercury is all about perfectionism and detail, and perfectionism and detail are two of the big issues. You don't like sloppy work, so you don't do it, and you don't put up with it either. You don't suffer fools either. Can't stand it. Can't waste your time.
I'm not really a 9-to-5 type of person. I'm somebody who's
certainly not. Certainly not. I've never really met a 26th of August who was 9-to-5. Never. I even had a girlfriend on that birthday, and they think outside the box and they do their thing, but they're not really 9-to-5. You know, no, not at all. But work-wise, you've got some good news coming in over the next 18 months. If you haven't already had some, I think just after your birthday this year, we're looking at a really big series of improvements for the next 2 years, especially financially. I mean, it was pretty rough. You've been emotionally drained in the recent past, but now you're going to lay the foundations for what is a bright future, you know? Could you just tell me your year of birth again?
What's that?
Your year of birth.
Oh, 1976.
So you're born in the year of the dragon. You're born in the year of the dragon. So you're a true powerhouse when you set your mind to it, you know.
Okay.
But you are also emotionally sensitive. And like our host here, you had to grow up early as well. You were given no choice. And you're very sensitive indeed. You know, I don't know if you show it or you just feel it. You know, I mean, I think people can hurt you quite easily. I don't know that you let them know they've hurt you, but I think they do. Now, you're a sensitive guy, and you've got so much talent and ability that you were born with, but you've got to channel that. But I think you get the chance to use those skills and abilities pretty much from now, from the 26th. Things lift for you, and then throughout 23 is very good. 23, 24 for you is superb. this year's already slow but sure improvement.
Hmm.
You know?
Well, I am feeling optimistic about that. I do feel like
You should.
what I'm doing right now is slowly coming into place, falling in
It's
line.
going to come into place. That's right. It's going to fall in line. You know, you've already been planning a long time and laying a lot of groundwork. But it's now that, you know, I mean, right now you want to run, but you're being forced to crawl. But at least crawling is not standing still, is it?
True. I mean, you said I've been doing years of groundwork, and like the first thing into my head is like, man, you think? I mean, I've been working on I'm an aspiring writer, you know, and I've been working on that.
Well,
for quite some time, and I've
let
just
me
been,
tell
like,
you, a
having to struggle with it.
Virgos have a gift for writing. You know, I'm quite sure with the dates you've given me that you'll be able to achieve something. But remember, you're a perfectionist, so you're going to be very hard on yourself. And when you do whatever you do, you're going to judge it harsher than anyone else.
Yeah,
I think you were born quite early.
Hindrance
Were
to
you
me as
born?
I was going forward.
Yeah, I know you'll be okay. Were you born quite early on the 26th? Like early morning, by any chance?
Actually, no.
Oh, you were born in the evening. The reason I ask is because it will change the planets around you. I wasn't sure which it was. That's why I was asking. But you know, if you'd have been born early, you would have still pulled on the cusp with a little bit of Leo. But because you're born later, you're a full-blown Virgo, and Virgo really are hard on themselves. Every Virgo alive is never really satisfied with what they do, even though most people outside of their circle who observe them are incredibly impressed with what they do. You know,
I get that impression a lot.
Yeah. Also, there's another thing with Virgo that men and women, they're usually particularly attractive. Libra are better looking, but Virgo usually have something about them that's either heavily masculine or heavily feminine. With the Virgo women, it's often they have beautiful hair and nice eyes. With the Virgo men, they usually have a very good physical build and structure. But they themselves never appreciate what they're like. They don't see it. They're blind to it.
Yeah, the ironic thing is like people, people like my wife and other people over my life have told me, you know, oh, you're a good-looking guy, blah blah blah. You have beautiful.
That's
eyes,
right, well-built, good-looking.
This and that. I'm like,
but you don't see any of it.
I don't see it. I'm like, I mean, you're sitting there talking about celebrities, you know, and I'm just like, I don't see myself as this attractive type of person.
Well,
you know,
I got to tell you, that is very Virgo. That is Virgo. That is exactly it.
On other people.
No, but you wouldn't see it anyway.
A Virgo
because
just like that.
all the Virgos I've ever met, and they're usually naturally beautiful, men and women, they can't see it at all.
Yep.
They just can't see it. You know, for some reason, it goes straight over their head, or it's something they're not interested in, or they just don't accept it. They think they're like everybody else. And usually they've got a better physical structure, physically are very strong, and just have that better chin or those better shoulders or whatever it is. But you wouldn't be able to see it. Now, you're Virgo, you'll never see it. You know, you won't, you'll judge it.
Shoulders, but the chin thing, I don't know.
Well, the point being that you wouldn't be able to see whatever it was, whatever the feature is, you wouldn't see it. You sometimes have much more confident people of other signs who work with an awful lot less in the sense of being actors or whatever, but because they're so confident, they come over more attractive because of the confidence level they carry. I suppose Tom Cruise would be an example of that. He's not a particularly tall man, even though he's got a good body, but his body's not really in proportion. And, you know, he has a big nose, etc. But he's incredible, and his confidence shines through. He's a Cancerian, by the way. I'm just thinking on him as an example. I love his work, but, you know, he's not 6'3", and he's not built like a brick outhouse. But he is confident, and it works. You see?
Right.
You know, whereas there are other people who are incredibly well aesthetically built, they get nowhere. They don't have any confidence. You know, it's just, I'm only talking about the media there, but Virgos have natural low self-esteem, all of them. They beat themselves up a lot.
All right, stop hitting yourself, Rab.
Yeah, don't hit yourself.
He's right. He is right. He's totally on the ball. He got me to a T.
Well, Rob, thank you for calling in, bud.
Well, you've got a very
man,
good
thanks a lot,
couple of
man.
years coming in. Pleasure. Look after yourself, sir.
Well, yeah, thank you very much, Maurice. I appreciate your insight and your help.
Pleasure.
All right, and thanks, Jason.
No problem, Rob. You have a great night. Keep writing.
All right, thank you. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right, bye. All right, yeah, I got the one line, and I got everybody else trying to call in. The Rob's getting off, so somebody else can try to call in, which I think somebody else is trying to call in now. But I always find it interesting when the people give the birthday, and then you just start tuning in. Is some of that the numerology? I mean, it seems like a lot of it's numerology, but you're also picking up insights too as you're connecting.
Oh, I tell you, for some reason, when I hear a person's birthday, I don't really understand it myself. I get a channel with them. It's like I go into what I think is called the Akashic Records. It's like in my mind, I open a huge book and I start being able to read page after page of their life. I have no idea why I have these abilities or these skills, but I tend to be accurate, and the messages I'm given tend to fit that individual. Of course, there is numerology as well. I have my own system that I use, and numerology is also incredibly accurate because I think the universe really does run on numbers. Everything is number related. But I tend to pick up the individual. But, with him, he is a good-looking guy, well-built, good-looking guy, and he's brilliant at what he does. But because he's Virgo, he's doing what I call the Vincent van Gogh of writers, Vincent van Gogh, chopped his ear off, and yet his artwork
all
today
garbage.
is worth billions. Yeah, he thought it was all rubbish, but of course it was superb. And the thing with Virgo is they all judge themselves much too harshly, especially the women who are often stunning.
That's a Virgo woman, I
but
know.
they
That's
can't
like that.
see it.
Yes.
They can't see it.
Yeah, it's sad.
Well, I've had a few Virgo girlfriends because I'm August 21 and it's a natural sort of catchment. And the funny thing is they always sort of despise themselves and they're standing in front of you and they look just like angels that fell down.
Yep.
But they can't see it. And when you give them a compliment, it can get even worse. Why did you say that? It's not true.
They almost hate you for it.
Yeah.
We got another caller on the line.
That's Virgo men as well, by the way. Virgo men are the same. They're like confused with a compliment.
We got Zach on the line, and I got other people trying to call in. Just hang in there, people. If it hangs up on you, just try after the caller gets off. I know I got somebody trying to call in right now. Zach, are you on the line?
I am, brother. How you doing?
Hey, man. Thanks for calling in.
Hello, Zach.
My fiance was just listening into the last reading and all that because she's a Virgo herself, so she's got a big old smile on her face right now. So
when is she in Virgo? Let's give her a message. When's her birthday?
Well, her birthday is September 29th, 1988, but I'm actually calling to get a mini.
Oh, she's not a Virgo. She's not a Virgo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's a Libra.
That's a Libra.
Oh, did you say the 9th or the 29th?
I meant the 9th. The 9th.
Ooh,
okay, my ex-girlfriend, who I lived with for 5 years, a long time ago, she was the 9th. They're lovely, absolutely lovely. And this is a fabulous time for her. Her confidence comes back. She makes big decisions. And literally from her birthday, it's singing and dancing. Now you can tell me about you. Just your birthday, and then I will do you.
May 22nd, 1989.
That's interesting because you're a Gemini. You share your birthday with Joan Collins and a girl in England called Katie Price. Now, you have a brilliant mind.
Oh, he does.
But you are complicated. There'd be no way to say that you weren't a complicated guy. Now, believe it or not, you and your girlfriend are in the exact same time frame, which is fantastic. You are totally in sync. You're just about 3-4 months ahead of her. But everything you were thinking 3-4 months ago, she's thinking now. This is a time of decision-making and a time where you're going to kind of get your life solid. No? What year are you born, sir?
1989.
1989 is the snake, Chinese snake. So you're interested about being financially secure. When I first went out to the States, I had a producer on a Maurice show for a network, and he was May 22nd. He'd made a series called America's Funniest Home Videos. Your birthday indicates someone who can achieve great wealth if they put themselves to it. Now, I feel recently you had a little upturn in your finances or some kind of opportunity. Does that link with you? Because I'm shown that's just behind you.
Well, it wasn't really an opportunity, I would call it. It's just a series of circumstances that happened recently that have changed a lot of stuff. That
Well, they allowed you financially to be a little better off. Is that fair?
well, right now,
Or
it's
if you
gonna be
prefer a little freer.
I guess you could say it'd be a little more freer.
Yeah, because that's what I'm picking up. Now, you're about to make some big decisions, which I think will go your way. I feel that there's more of a commitment between you and your lady as well. And her being a Libra and you being a Gemini, it's interesting because Jason was saying his lady's a Libra and he's a Gemini. That's actually a perfect match. And, you know, you two understand each other. Yes, you said she's Virgo.
She's Virgo, September 9th.
Yeah, they're still good. Sorry, I got confused because it's early in the morning. But no, it's still good because they're both ruled by Mercury, as I told you earlier. But you're at a very decisive point in your relationship. Are you guys talking about marriage or commitment?
Well, we're already engaged already.
Right. So are you looking at that's it. I'm looking at marriage and commitment and decisions being made about how you're continuing forward together in a more firm union that looks very good to me. Also, it looks like you're both settling your lives down and going to start doing what you really want to do. You know, that's what I pick up. Let me have a little look for a second, a bit deeper at you. I want to get some more information. I'm going to be quiet for a few seconds.
For those listening on Paranormal Soup Radio, I was just going to give them a reminder. We're talking to psychic clairvoyant Maurice Amdur, and he's reading for Zach right now.
What I feel about you, Zach, is that you're someone who's always searching for what you should be doing. In fact, you've been searching your whole life for who you really are. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? Does that resonate? I feel you're a man who's on a search in life, looking for what you should be doing and who you really are, because you seem to have quite a spiritual approach to life.
Yes.
Okay. And I feel that things fall in your lap. I feel you've got the hand of God or the hand of the universe on you, and that when you actually want to do something, it seems to land on you. So let's imagine you wanted to meet someone to do with something you want to do. Somehow that person will turn up in your life a little easier than the average. It seems like you help a lot of people, but whether you're aware of it or not, I don't know. You have a gift for helping other people at the right moment, a serendipitous gift of being there for others. Are you aware of that or not?
No, I'm actually not aware. I mean, I'll help out
Yeah,
people just whenever.
I know, but some of it you...
But
I understand that, but believe it or not, you're used by the universe to be in the right place at the right time to help others as well as yourself. So some of the things you do, as I say, are serendipitous. They affect people and the planet quite dramatically. You may not be aware of it at 31, 32, 33 years of age. You may not be aware of that, but actually throughout your life, you'll have quite an impact on others just by being alive. You do a lot that you're aware of some of it, but you're not aware of all of it. You are under the hand of God, so you'll always have everything you need delivered to you. Even though you'll feel like you're searching for who you are, what you should be doing, and where you belong, at the same time, as I say, the hand of God is on you, so whatever you need will be provided for you. In fact, you'll never be without anything ever. And it's more than likely that you'll either win money or inherit money as you get older, or be left money.
You remember what you said, Zach?
No. He's got that energy of being taken care of, but throughout your life, taking care of others, but maybe not being fully aware of it.
Well, definitely waiting to win the the big lottery numbers.
Oh,
That's
he
what I
promised.
hope.
I think the last time he called in, he promised if he won the big lotto, he was going to give me a couple million. Right, right, Zach.
Well,
Everybody everybody has a shot, okay? But the universe will do with you what it wants to do to get the most out of your soul's journey. And even though we in the Western world tend to love money, and we're told that money is the marker of every man, it actually isn't. And sometimes people do things that achieve an awful lot more than money, but they don't realize it till after they pass, when it's shown to them like a movie where they helped. See, it's a bit like there was a movie once.
It's a Wonderful
Where
Life.
where there's a teacher, and it's a musical as well, but it's not a musical. It's about a teacher, Opus. Do you remember the movie, Mr. Holland's Opus?
Oh, Mr. Holland's Opus. Yes, yes.
That's it. And they show him in the movie what he's done and how he's affected people's life, even though he's only a humble teacher. And, your life's going to be a little like that. I'm not saying you're not going to do well financially, but you will have helped an awful lot of people before you move to the next journey. And that's quite a gift. And that's why God or the universe, call it what you will always take care of you. And whatever your needs are, they will actually turn up. They will be fulfilled. Some people think they need a Rolls Royce when they actually need a truck. Some people think they need 100 women when they really just want one good wife. Some people think they need to be a billionaire to get respect, but actually you get respect for being a good person. A lot of billionaires have billions but get no respect. They might be treated a certain way because they're rich, but it doesn't mean they have any real respect. You understand?
I do understand that, definitely, on that. And, you did hit marker on that. I do. That is my goal, is to eventually just be very financially successful to where I am well off on this. And yeah, I know money doesn't make the world go round and all that, but for me, it would certainly grease the wheel to be able to definitely make my.
Well, we all need financial security, but money's just an illusion, pretty much like everything else on this planet. The funny thing is you arrive naked with nothing and you leave naked with nothing. And all you actually take with you are the good and bad deeds that you did and the memories. So, there's plenty of rich men who passed on very disappointed when they got to the other side, when they're told, quite how they're not going in certain places because of certain behavior patterns. So if I were you, I'd look to the spiritual. And life's too short anyway. We really don't stay very long. If you really look at it, we don't stay that long. We think life's so long. You're young, I'm a little older. But the thing is, we're born and nobody really tells you quite how fast the ride's going to be. But everybody on earth, doesn't matter how rich, and my father used to say, doesn't matter how rich you are, you can't buy your way out of death. Doesn't matter how strong you are, you won't be strong enough to lift yourself out of your own coffin. And there's a lot of truth in what he was saying.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody lives forever, and you cannot extend. When your time is up, you're done. Whether it's 10 years or 120, you're out of here. So money isn't as important as people think it is. Of course, it would be nice to have the big yacht and the big house and this, that, and the other. But the truth is, you can only eat one meal at a time. You can only drink so much, eat so much, make love so much, do anything so much. The human body has its limitations. The human mind is incredible. But again, the human mind is limited to the human form. In the spirit world, there are no limitations at all. In fact, when we dream at night is a little bit what the spirit world is like. You dip in there for a little while, because in the spirit world, you can create whatever you want. And in the mind and in sleep, you can create whatever you want. But the reality is that people chase all these financial dreams because that's the world we live in and the world we're pushed into. But I remember when I got my first Aston Martin thinking, oh my God, I've got Aston Martin. Wow, I've done it.
Yeah.
And then after 2 weeks, I thought, oh, it's a car. Because that's all it is.
Yep.
It's just a car.
I would like to have that
It's
car.
not
That's my
the-
dream. Aston Martin DB5, right? That'd be awesome.
The DB5s have gone mad.
I
they're
know,
so
I know.
expensive
Oh, I know.
now.
We got-
and also, when
say-
you drive one, it's the worst car you've ever driven. No power,
Yeah.
bad steering, drives like an old,
But you look cool.
like
You
an
look like
old
James
military
Bond.
vehicle. Yeah, you look like James Bond. That's
Hey,
true.
Zach, thanks for calling in. I got other people calling in. But you know what? You were one of my first callers into the show, so your serendipity then, when I felt like nobody's ever going to call on the show, was pretty good. I needed you then. So thanks, bud.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you, Maurice, very much for the reading.
All the
on that one.
best. Absolute pleasure. Pleasure.
Have a great
And
night,
my
Zach.
fiance
Oh, go ahead.
more about the Virgos. So, all right, guys. You have a good night, okay?
All right,
All the
good night,
best.
bud.
Take care.
All right, I got more people calling in. They're just blowing up my one phone line here. Hold on a second. Let's see.
I jammed the BBC 3 times.
Oh, I bet. I only got my little mini phones here.
The BBC had 7,000 lines, and I jammed them up. This is not that long ago, and it was very funny because I said to the host, prepare your lines. Because, you know, when you're going to be accurate and you're coming out with the truth, people want to hear it.
Yep. I have one line, and I was trying to answer one, but now it's not doing it. Darn it. It's like locked up. Let me back that out and see if I can get the last caller. Here it goes. Every time I try to call a silent caller, call ID, call. I'm trying to answer it. Come on. Answer it. It's like trying to load the call.
It's all right.
All right, come on now. What's it doing? It's being weird. All right, it's like it's loading the call, missed call. All right, if you call in and I just be prepared, I'll try to call you back. I'm gonna try to do that with this one now.
While you do that, can I talk about astrology and dogs and cats and animals and how they're the same as humans?
Yeah.
And how all sentient beings are ruled by the planets. And, you know, it's interesting. I have 2 dogs. One is a Taurus, one is a Cancer, and they are exact to their numerology and exact to their astrology. It's the same even with a pet goldfish, which is also sentient, believe it or not. All animals, all beings, are ruled by the same numbers and the same energies. And I think the reason animals don't have to live as long as us is because they're so much more evolved. They may not look physically more evolved, but emotionally and mentally, they're so far ahead of the game. That's why they don't have to stay so long.
Yeah, I get it. I'm a pet lover. I had 2 dogs. I had a pug and a puggle we lost during the whole lockdown thing. They lived long lives.
I'm so sorry
though.
they passed.
I had a
how long
psychic
did they
experience with that. I dreamt of my dog's death a year before. My oldest dog, Bella.
Wow,
she was the puggle.
precognitive. How old was she?
She was 17.
Thank God, because I have a frog I'm stroking right now who's 6 and change, and I got to be honest with you, I wanted to live forever.
I know.
And then I have a French bulldog who's only just over 1, and you know, she saved my life. Whenever I'm stressed, you know, she comes over and like that guy was being so rude before. She was wagging her little tail and kissing my leg, and it takes all the stress away. And right now, she's cuddled into me, and I'm stroking her because my GF's away on vacation, and it's really something. The energy they give out. You should get more. Remember, the way to honor a dog, the way to honor a lost pet is to look after another one, but not a puppy. Go get one that needs to live somewhere. Do like Stallone. He just got himself a big dog, and he never gets puppies. Neither do I. I rescued both.
I don't think I could do a puppy again, actually, the way I
No,
feel
no,
about
no,
it.
don't.
Yeah.
No, what you do is you go get yourself one 6 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. One that needs desperately a home. Like the first dog, Bonnie, I rescued for some clients who didn't want her. She was only 3 months old, so she was a baby. But the reality is, you know, that the dog comes house trained and knows how to love, and they desperately need a home. And I always say, you know, don't go to a pet store, go to a pound.
Yeah, I don't do pet stores.
They need the home. They need the home, you know.
Oh, we do have somebody. Go ahead.
Great, let's do it.
Okay, sorry. As I say, I got somebody else. I do have somebody else on the line waiting now, and I got other people trying to call in, so I don't want to run out of time.
Let's do it.
All right, 702 area code. Who do we got? You're on the line. Hello? 702, are you there? Says the call's connected, and it's excellent.
I don't know who it is. Don't hear him.
I know Royal and Brina are trying to call.
I got, and I had Dan trying to call too. Going once, anybody there? Going twice, you there? 702. Even if you're not there, sometimes it gives the wrong area code. If you're on the phone line, say hello. All right, well, try again. Yeah.
You're using that 444 phone number,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one that I'm on right now. And then
I just
there's the
wanna
Skype
make sure
ID,
I put it in right.
Jblandoo. Yeah. No, you got it. You got it. Sometimes it cuts off the audio. I don't know why it does that. Let's see. I got lots of people trying to call in right now, so I'm trying to see which ones we're doing. Oh, my God. There's so many phone calls coming in here. Hold on. Oh, my God. See, when I got the other person on the line, it likes to hang up. I'll try calling somebody else back. And go. Whoop. Let me see. Sometimes I have to call them back because it likes to hang up on them. I don't know why it does that. Hopefully we get this person on the line. I don't know why. Oh, hello. Make sure you mute in the background. You're on the air. I had to call you back. It is hanging up. Oh, or did we? Then we lost him. Ah, jeez. I heard him.
It's interesting, because there's a couple of planets. I'm tired to tell you what they are, but they're off balance the last couple of days, causing a lot of complications, arguments, and altercations globally. And I think that's what's happening with your phone line, because it's like the guy in the apartment opposite. I'm in a house. He's an apartment near me, was shouting out, all sorts of blue fill.
Yeah.
And the point is that, it's interesting, because when I tried to get through to you earlier, I had difficulty. And so that's why we're experiencing it. But the good news is I'm here and I'm available. What I was going to say was about my pets.
Yeah.
When I rescued the next dog, they neutered him, which I don't believe in on males or females. So now I give him a male hormone supplement, a dog hormone supplement designed by Dr. Merkel. And any pet owners, if you want your pet to be healthy and not lose its muscle structure,
I've always wondered
joint
that.
structure, or aging, because I don't believe in neutering, but I still rescued him. So now I give him his hormones every day.
Because if you did that you do that to a human, and like a man loses his testosterone, that does affect them with their health. It should be the same for an animal.
It's the same with the male or female. When you
Yeah.
neuter animals, you destroy their bodies. You put too much pressure on the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, and so the animal actually becomes unhealthy. And when you sometimes see dogs fat sitting in the corner, quiet and miserable, that's because they've been neutered and they're lacking hormone. They also die early. So the answer is this Dr. Merkel's herbal supplement that I've been using now. It's from the States. I've been using it since I got the boy, and he's put his muscle back, and he's behaving very healthy. Whereas when I first got him, he was quite depressed. You're correct. We shouldn't do it. Vets do it to make money. They don't do it for any other reason. And of course, now some other vets have brought out this herbal supplementation, and they're only just starting to tell people quite the damage they're doing, moving vital organs from animals. I mean, it's brutal. Evil.
We got Dan on the line, and Brianna, I saw you call in. Royal, I saw what you said your area code was, so I'll try to call Royal back if I got the right line.
Tenacious said it was them 702. It hung up.
Okay, all right. We had him, and then it disconnected. So, all right, we got Dan online. You there, Dan? Oh, don't tell me it's doing it to him too. God bless him. You there, Dan? So we had audio with the other one, and then this one we didn't.
Even my dog's got something to say about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear him. You there, Dan? All right, let me try. I think it's because I have so many people calling in, it's like interfering with it. It's like too many notifications.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Let me see if we can. I'll try Dan one more time, and then I'll try to be
Your call has been forwarded
Nope.
to an automatic voice message system.
Nope, not going to get Dan. Yep. All right, let me try Brianna. Oh, God dang. I'm trying to get the phone lines here, but they are blowing up. Yeah, it's too bad we couldn't have got the StreamYard to work because that had left me an extra phone line, but it does that sometimes.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
Be quiet, Bonnie. Bonnie, be quiet.
Trying to load.
Now we got the dog making noise. It's a
see.
funny night tonight. You got to laugh because otherwise you cry. You keep blaming God, but I think it's more the other guy, the devil, He's in on it. Hello, baby.
Let me see if I can get
the boy that I give the hormone to every day, since I've been giving it to him, he's a French bulldog. All his muscles came back, and he's got that glow, and he's full of power. It's just wonderful to see.
All right, see if I can get a hold of Brianna. I got other people trying to call in, but it won't answer it. Let's see. We got Brianna on
Good
the line.
boy.
Nope, it's calling her. Sorry. It's hard. I can't read if it's answering or not because it keeps going. There we go. You on the line,
Don't
Brianna?
worry.
I'm here.
Hey, sorry I had to call you
Hello,
back. The lines
Brianna.
are going
Good
crazy
morning.
right now.
Oh my gosh, no worries.
How you doing, Brianna? When's your birthday, darling?
December 23rd, 1970.
Okay, now December 23rd people have the most incredible capacity to heal others. I don't know if you knew this, but if you were a masseuse or any kind of doctor, you could really heal people. You have the most incredibly powerful healing gift. Are you aware of that?
I have had no idea.
And now you do. I don't know if you've ever laid hands on anyone and they've said, wow, your hands are warm or anything like that, but you do have a gift for that. Now, let's have a look where you are at the moment in your life. Hold on. Right. Have you just had a windfall? The first thing shown to me is some kind of terrific financial uplift, even though you feel like you're walking on broken eggshells. A lot of anxiety around you. Have you had the anxiety or the windfall or both?
The windfall was a couple years ago, but now I have the anxiety.
No, this is another one. This is another one that's coming towards you. You got the anxiety, but coming towards you is a huge windfall. I didn't say it's a whole lottery, but it's certainly going to be nice. You've been more anxious lately than you've been in a long time. A couple of years ago, you went through hell, a lot of pain. Last year, you started to heal, but this year, you've been walking on quicksand, you know? It's like pure anxiety all the time and worried and talking yourself in terrible things. But actually, what's going to happen is something amazing to do with your work or money. That's almost on you within the next couple of months. And you do have this ability to heal. I think you're a little bit psychic as well. What have you done with that side of your life?
Well, a little clairsentient, but that's about it.
A little, I think a lot. I think maybe it's going to come in now. Just tell me your year of birth again, darling.
1970.
Yeah, 1970 is the year of the dog. Chinese dog. And dogs like order and structure. Now, this is a good year for you, believe it or not, particularly from December 23rd. Now, I know that's late in the year, but your year starts December 23rd through December 23rd. Now, next year, your confidence comes back, and this extra money and good work news is there. Now, when you called, you probably had some things you want to know, so could you ask me about anything? I'll try to help.
Well, I was going to ask about a job. I recently resigned from my job.
You're about to land something fantastic. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Work and money is highlighted to go incredibly well. You know, you're very hardworking and incredibly good at what you do, and I think you pick up jealousy for that. Have you found that co-workers don't like how good you are at what you do?
I don't know. I get along pretty well with most people.
It's not about you not getting along with them. It's about them observing that you're better at what you do than they are. I never said you don't get on with people. You get on really well. But unfortunately, you also deliver on the promise that not everybody does. And I feel that can be a problem. Also, you like to work to an order and a structure. You have a program of how to do things, you know, from A to Z. You do things your way and you do them correctly. And you would have found that when you work with some people, they don't lay the groundwork. They don't put in the time. They just rush. And I think that upsets you.
Yes, amen.
Yeah. Now, you used to have a bit of a fear of death or something when you were a child. And did you have a nasty? Did you have one parent who was a little bit hard on you or something?
Yes.
Yeah, because I picked that up, that they were quite nasty to you in a way, and I'm sure you've forgiven them, but I think it marked you emotionally.
A little bit, yeah.
And I think it carried on into your love life, because you would judge people or view people with a bit of fear, because you just didn't know who or what to trust. I'm looking at relationship opportunities and commitments and good news in love in the next 2 years as well. And I think you're going to finally, now at the age of 52 this year, I think you're going to let go of some of the pain that was put upon you. I feel pain has been put upon you. I feel you've been hurt in the past. You know?
Yeah.
I feel you
Yes,
try. I feel you try. I feel you try to be quite kind, but I think people are quite tough on you, or have been, especially family, for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're a little nasty to you. I don't know why. Part of your journey, but you
Yeah.
have this
Yes, that's what I
incredible
think.
Yeah, you have this incredible healing capacity. You need to start looking at, because you have an ability to heal others. Through healing others, heal yourself, which is what I do in my life. And I feel
Interesting.
you're a little like me. You know, if you were to use the energy to help others, you'd find that it helps you. You've got a lot of skill there that God gave you from birth that you're probably not aware of, because I think you weren't allowed to express yourself 100% in childhood.
Right.
You know, does that resonate at all? Do you feel
Oh,
that? Do you
totally.
see that? Yeah, I
Yes.
thought so. You're looking at a much better path in front of you than behind you. And definitely, your energy will go higher, and you'll have a lot of luck with work and love in front. It's not really very far at all on both counts. You know, I'm also
Yay.
thinking, did you recently change your hairstyle or the way you look or your clothes or something recently? Because I've got a change coming in around you.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, there's a little change there. And I think you might delve back into that again. There's something you do with like polishing the diamond, you know? It's
Okay.
like you take an old diamond and you polish it and you put it in a new ring, and it shines, doesn't it? Well, you're the
Yeah.
diamond and you're about to be put in the new ring, you know?
Thank you.
Pleasure. Would you like to ask anything else?
I was just really very curious about my job and getting
There's
feeling
definitely
something good.
a good new surprise to do with work and money. I mean, you know, you've got money luck and work luck in front of you now. Either you'll get a shitload of money, pardon me swearing, or you'll get an amazing new job. Either way, you'll be happy. But then you're
I'll take
someone who
either.
likes to work. I know, but you're actually somebody who prefers to work, to be honest. You
Yes,
actually
yes.
like working. So, you know, even if you won the lottery, as an example, because they talked about the lottery a lot, you're not the type who'd retire. If you won the lottery, you do something with the money and set yourself up in some kind of business or work helping. You know, some people, they just want to chill out on the beach. You're not one of those. You know, a lot of people can last a week or two on vacation. Most can't last longer. You're one that would last probably even less. You know what I mean? You need to be doing things. You know,
Yes.
there's the odd person like me who'd like to be on vacation 365,
That'd be
but then
me.
I can't do it because that's it. But after a few days, you suddenly think, oh, I need to work. It's just the way we're built.
Yeah.
You know, the idea of, I once lived in the Cayman Islands and I thought, great, I'm just going to retire and do nothing. And I lasted about 3 days. You know, it's just, even now, you know, when I have a holiday vacation place and I go there and, you know, I last a day or two and then I think, oh, I better help someone because there's a list of people who want reading something, and I just go do it.
Yeah. I call
Otherwise,
it
you know,
spinning.
yeah, that's exactly it. It's spinning. That's exactly it. If you're not working, you're just spinning. And we're only here for limited time, and we have things that we're supposed to do. And, you know, the other thing with you is you are supposed to have a little fame in your life. Were you ever famous as a kid or anything in the newspaper or at school or anything like that? A little bit of fame?
No, I'm a teacher, so the kids kind of think I'm a
Okay, so you were
celebrity when they see
known.
me out.
Okay, maybe you're known because there's a little bit of fame. Now, my prediction would have to be, because I've said that you may experience unexpected fame in the future. Because written for you is a level of fame. You will be known by the masses or by a large number of people. Of course, in a way, teachers are famous because they stand in front of all those kids and
Yeah.
they're never forgotten.
I don't forget
Never.
my
You
teachers.
know, that's it. Me either. Especially the good ones.
Yes.
Especially the ones who go the extra mile. You know, when I talked about healing, do you sometimes help kids or get them to see differently when they're a little down or something?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because I was seeing this healing energy that you carry that's much stronger than you realize. Do you do any tutoring one-on-one? Because you could be amazing at that. You have extra skills.
No, I don't typically do that, but
Would you
if
like
I don't
to?
find a job soon, if I don't find a job
No, it
soon, it
wasn't
might be.
about, it wasn't, I know, it wasn't meant on the money level, more on the fact that you have a gift for that kind of thing. You know, you're like that Sean Connery movie, Finding Forrester. You know that movie?
No, huh?
He starts teaching this young writer how to write, and then the young writer's so good that they accuse him of cheating. So the Sean Connery figure appears in the university and says, "No, that's his own work. I wish I had his talent." And you're that type. You could instill an awful lot of skill, and you could help a lot.
Thank you.
I think all people that have suffered and gone through pain are much better at helping others than those who've had an easy time. You know, there aren't that many people who've had an easy time, but the ones who tend to have easy times don't really understand much. They just go through life not knowing much. But the ones who suffered from time to time or had difficult parents or difficult situations end up being able to do an awful lot more. So our pain are our gifts, believe it or not.
Yes.
And our pain open up our gifts. So we all need our pain, you know?
Right.
We need it.
Well, Brianna.
Any last question, darling?
That is, you have been wonderful. I'm very pleased. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
God bless. An absolute pleasure, and good luck with the new situation, which will be superb.
Thanks, Brianna.
Thank you. I'm excited. Thanks.
All right, bye.
All right, darling.
Bye.
The phone lines are still blowing up. I know people are trying to call in. I'm not going to get all of you tonight. We only got about a half an hour left of show. We're going to be going to our last commercial break here in 5 minutes. I'll see if I can pick somebody else up. Of course, I don't think 5 minutes will do justice because you got a lot of information.
What I was saying was, we could. I was saying people don't realize that the pain they go through, all the terrible things that happen, are sent to enhance our lives, not to destroy them. Because remember, life is a journey, and life is school. We're here to learn. And unfortunately, the human being learns an awful lot more through pain than they do through pleasure. You know, it's a bit like when you're in school and the teacher says, "Don't rock back on that chair, you'll fall down and hurt yourself." And she says it 100 times, but you keep doing it. And then when you hurt yourself and you fall down, you never do it again.
My wife always says to our kids, "So when you fall, you'll learn."
That's it. And when you know, we lose a loved one, or we experience any kind of loss or failure, that's actually when we're winning, because that's when our humanity steps in, and that's when we evolve. That's part of the human condition. It's difficult to understand it, but it's the truth. The more pain and the more suffering, the more evolved the soul. The more evolved the soul, the more they can give to others and themselves. The joy of helping is far stronger than the joy of hurting.
Hero's
A lot of
journey.
people-
You have to have drama. You have to have challenges. That's life. Or
I
you
think
don't
the
learn.
the greatest pleasure in life is helping others.
Yeah.
You know, actors and singers often are great healers because they take people away from their pain. Yeah. They don't even always realize they're doing it. But, you know, when you listen to a good song, or you watch a good movie, or you see a great play, or you read a good book, you escape from all your heartache.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what makes them healers. And in fact, sometimes people are very unwell, but if they listen to the right music, watch the right funny movies, and divert their energy, they start to heal.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I totally feel that. I mean, I've had songs that have got me through tough times, books that have got me through tough times.
Have you ever found that when you go to work out, if you put on the right music, you've got 3 times the energy?
If I go to work out.
Yeah, if anyone goes to work out and the right music's there, I personally like Michael Jackson for that. I had the great pleasure of chatting with him one time.
Really?
And also chatting with Dr. Conrad Murray, who was the doctor that they blamed for killing. Of course, he didn't kill him.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah. Oh, my first album I ever bought on vinyl. The first album I ever bought on cassette tape was Thriller.
Oh, Thriller, right.
Yep. I was a huge
My
Michael
burst
Jackson
was
fan.
off the wall. I don't think we'll ever see that again. That is a spirit of talent. He was August 29. He was a Virgo dog, 1958 Virgo dog. Unbelievable level of talent. It was in him, like, if I speak, it's coming from my soul. Everything he did was from his soul, but unfortunately, he was very misunderstood.
Yeah.
But a great genius. I do remember before I ever met him, seeing him live about 1988, 89 in England on stage. And I just couldn't believe what I was watching, this incredible dancing that went on forever. And he'd do set after set after set. And then he'd come out, do another set. And each song, the voice got more pure. And it was like, where's it coming from? I would say direct from God.
Oh, yeah.
Level of,
I don't know if we'll ever see that kind of talent again like that. It was incredible.
I think like Elvis, there's going to be a handful. Barbara Streisand,
Yeah.
Elvis, him.
Freddie Mercury. I'm a big Queen
Freddie
fan.
Mercury. Yeah, Freddie Mercury was a talent. I don't think he was in Michael Jackson's league, but he was definitely a talent. But Elton John. There are a lot of people, but Michael, actually, I think that's really one of one. Just one of one. I mean, I don't even, words fail me on him. I mean, he's helped me through every problem I've ever had. If I'm feeling down, on goes his music. Sometimes I will listen in a day to everything he ever sang. I do it all on Spotify or the other one, Apple Music.
I use music to get myself ready for the show. I listen to Moody Blues, Ride My Seesaw.
I love the Moody Blues.
Yeah.
I love the
that's a tribute to Art Bell that I used to love that band too.
The other group that was pretty much amazing and gifted, Barry Gibb, another Virgo, he's September 1, and the Bee Gees. My God, the level of talent, and they were actual Michael's favorite musicians. I don't know if you knew that.
No,
the Bee Gees were his favorite. Sure,
right.
That's why he recorded a few things with Barry Gibb
at
the end. Some have been released, some haven't, but he was in love with their music, and rightly so. I mean, he had a lot of artists, but I mean, I think the Bee Gees were also just quite unbelievable. I listen to their music; it's always fresh, no matter how many times I listen. The music's incredible. And Olivia Newton-John, bless her. I loved her from when I was 10. I had the pleasure of knowing her and having dinner with her a couple of times. She when I met her, she'd just gone through the first round of cancer, and she was a Libra, 26 September, same day as Will Smith, funnily. And it's interesting because Will Smith's alive, but he's going through a bad time due to his own stupidity. But she was an adorable person. But I remember having a crush on her when I was 10. The first song I think I heard was Sam, which was one of her early ones. This is long before Grease. And then, of course, one went to the cinema as a kid to go and see Grease and thought, my God, who's this angel?
Right.
And,
I hate to cut you off, Maurice. We got to go to our last commercial break, and I got somebody else waiting on the phone line. So sorry.
No worries. I'm here. Don't worry.
All right. We're going to go to our last commercial break. I got Dan waiting on the line. I know other people are trying to call in. We'll try to fit in at least a couple others if we can. The line's been blowing up. And Maurice, we're going to have to definitely do this again. How much my phone lines are blowing up tonight. We'll be back after this short commercial break, guys.
Intercepted a transmission of unknown origin.
Transmission? Out here?
SOS.
Human.
Unknown.
Alien. Certificate X. Exclusive engagement at the Odeon Leicester Square. Now.
Any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated. I will hear it.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDeath.net.
This is an APAC studio presentation.
Hi, I'm Barry, owner-operator of Barry's Barometer Barn. Lately, I bet you've been lying awake at night asking yourself, how many barometers do I really need? Well, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we think you need more than one. Otherwise, we're gonna go out of business. Remember, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we don't know the meaning of high-pressure sales. Come on, folks, buy another barometer. I'm trying to put my kids through college, I've got a family to support, and a secret mistress who isn't cheap.
Visit Barry's Barometer Barn, 000 Storm Drive. Come on, folks, buy a barometer. I'm Barry's older brother, Larry, and every time one of you people walk past the store without coming in, Barry beats me.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.
When Alex Gardner is asleep, he has an extraordinary gift. The government wants it, the scientists want it, but to keep it may cost him his life. It might be better if Alex didn't sleep at all, but he cannot resist entering the dreamscape. Can you? See Dreamscape in the West End and all over London now. Certificate 15. It takes an extraordinary adventurer to enter the dreamscape.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Heat 'em up. Do, re, Ega.
Tonight's guest has been UK clairvoyant Maurice Amdur. I have the phone lines blowing up. I know you guys, I only have the one line tonight. I've been trying to get all your calls. I know, Royal, you've been trying to get, I'll try to get a hold of you, Royal. I know you've been trying. I know a lot of people have been trying tonight. I recognize some of the phone numbers. I got Dan waiting on the line now. We'll try to fit in as much as we can, but definitely going to have Maurice back on. If he's willing to do it, we definitely have to do this again because he's been excellent. I can tell right away he's doing really good on these readings with you guys, and he's hitting nail. He did for me, too. So we definitely got to do this again. Phone lines are open, but just remember, when you call in, if it hangs up on you, you can try again. We're going to fit a few more in tonight, but let's go ahead and get back to our guest. Still there with me, Maurice?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good, thank you, because it cut off for a second. I dialed you back.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Awesome.
I forgot what we were talking about, but definitely I'm enjoying the show, and I'll do whatever I can for whoever calls in.
All right. Well, we got Dan waiting on the line here. Yeah, we're going to run out of time, sadly. I've seen like at least 10 or 15 people different try to call in. Oh, and on the one line.
Well, they can always call me through my website and get a read.
And that's Maurice Amdur, AMDUR.
It's mauriceamdur.co.uk.
And that's your website. People can try to get a reading through that.
Yeah, all they do is they email me, and there's also mauriceamdur.co.uk. That's me.
Okay. All right, Dan, you're on the line. How you doing tonight, Dan? Hopefully we can hear you this time.
Hello.
Hey, Dan.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Dan.
I can hear you.
Hey. How's it going, Jason?
Doing good.
Maurice, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. When's your birthday, sir?
2/24/1978.
So the 24th of February.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's have a look at that. Right. Now, have you recently had some good news? Because this year looks bright to me. Again, you've had anxiety, but I feel you've been having good news. What do you think about that?
Not well. Not
No,
well.
no,
Not really. I mean, I
nothing
guess
good
it's
happened.
been a
No,
slightly better situation.
yeah, well, and no extra money turned up the whole year so far. No,
no extra money. No.
no surprise money.
No surprise money. No.
When I'm looking at you, I'm seeing surprise with money. Again, good news. Now, you're a Pisces on the cusp with Aquarius, but you fall on the Pisces side. I want to predict changes coming in and decisions being made into next year. I want to predict that you have recovered from I want to state that you've recovered from a difficult period over the last 5 years where you turned your life around. And I feel that now you're going to start getting the rewards for all your efforts. I've got an emotional person and a creative person. And I need your year, sir. What was your year?
78.
That's right. You did say that's the horse. Sorry, it's because I'm a little tired and I can't hear everything clearly. But don't worry. That's the year of the horse.
Okay.
Right. You're a person who had some control and restriction issues when they were younger. I think family or lovers tried to control or restrict you and tell you what to do. Do you resonate with that? You're free now, but I don't think you always were. I think they had a lot of opinions on what your life should be and how things should be done. I think you're quite artistic, but I think they didn't allow that in some way, and I think you had to do a little bit of what you were told. So I'm not sure that what you ended up doing was what you initially wanted. You also have an excellent energy for business. What do you do, sir?
Right now I'm currently out of work.
But what do you do? What is your thing?
I mean, I like, graphic arts. I used to work at a factory.
That's
I'm
what I
not doing
wanted.
that
I
anymore.
want the graphic arts. I think you're a very good artist.
He is.
I feel there's incredible creativity there, and there's a lot. Like, you know him, Jason?
Oh yeah, I know Dan. He's made some of the graphics for this show recently.
Right. He's a gifted artist, and I think when he was a kid, I think they told him, no, you can't make a living at that or something, because you have a lot of creative and artistic skill, and not a little, a lot. And I think that you might get the confidence the end of this year into next to start using that skill for yourself. Maybe you should turn that into a business.
I think
because you've got the ability, and I think that the clients would come a bit like Field of Dreams. You do it and they'll turn up kind of thing because you're very good at what you do. Yeah, build it, they will come. Because definitely you have an artistic slant that you were a little nervous to use due to family restrictions. I think they used to say things like, that won't be good enough, that won't cut it, you got to do a real job or something like that. Because you have that skill. Now, also, you have a business acumen as well. And it is written for you to be quite well off. I mean, 1978, you're not really very old. 78, what does that make you? 44, is that right?
35? Yeah, 45. 44.
44. Yeah, 44, yeah. Well, you have a chance to redefine yourself, and I think you're going to do that over the next 6 months. I feel that from your next birthday, you'll be more confident. And I feel you've got a lot of luck around you. So even though you told me that there's something gone wrong with your work life, I think you're about to make your work life shine. Do you want to ask me any questions?
Okay. No, I don't think I really had any questions. Just wanted kind of a basic reading.
Well, basically, you are a very artistic guy who really has an awful lot of capacity and is very sensible and knowledgeable. You're good at what you do, but you haven't always had the confidence that you should have due to earlier almost discrimination.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are substantial artistic skills from birth. You are a really interesting, soulful, spiritual guy, which comes out in your work. But I'm not sure you were allowed to really be who you are earlier. And it may only be now at 44, 45 that you say, F it, I'm going to do what works for me. Because you did have a lot of opinions. You know what Clint Eastwood says about opinions? They're like a-holes. Everybody has one.
Yep.
You know, and definitely, it's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I should have really done it in his voice, shouldn't I? Well, the thing is, you know. But anyway, the point is that you really can. I've met Clint a couple of times, by the way. He's a Gemini, 31st May, 92 years of age. Born in the year of the horse. Now, you know, once you get your confidence, you're unstoppable, my friend. Also, it looks like emotions and love are looking good for you in the near future. Are you married already?
Yes.
Okay, it looks like that comes together in a really nice way soon. Obviously, in marriages, we have our ups and downs. I'm not saying you're having one. I'm not saying on air anything negative. But it feels to me like you really draw together closer in the next year. You know, more happiness there. And I think you should do more art for yourself.
I agree.
think it would really help and heal you. You have real fantastic artistic ability. I mean, it's at an exceptional level. It always was. You know?
Well, Dan, I'm going to let you go, though, because we're going to run out of time. Let's see if we can fit other phone calls. And I think you nailed it on the head from what I know of you.
Yeah, pretty well. Sure.
Well, have a great rest of the day or night or whatever it is there.
Thanks,
I'm
Dan.
confused.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, Maurice. Thank you, Jason.
Pleasure. God bless you, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I loved Clint Eastwood. You know, I wish he was still young. Nothing like that anymore in the movies, is there?
No, sadly.
Not like that.
Not like Clint
You know,
Eastwood.
no, that was really something. I met him quite a few times, especially when I was very, very close with Sumner Redstone. They used to eat at all the same restaurants all the time. When I lived in LA, I was in LA for 35 years, maybe more, on and off, still go back now. And Dan Tanner's was one of Clint Eastwood's favorite places in the Palm. But, you know, he must have lost about 8 inches of height over the last, say, 30 years.
Well, that happens with age. Your spine compresses.
Not to everyone. Sean
Yeah.
Connery didn't lose any height at all.
True.
Roger Moore didn't lose any height either. But Clint and James Garner, I met them both at various different points. When I first met Clint, he was about 6'4". When I last saw him, he wasn't any more than 5'10".
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
Wow. All right. I think I got
Yeah.
Royal on the line. Is this Royal on the line?
Yes, Jason. How are you?
Hey, Royal. Sorry, I've been trying to get your guys' phone calls. There's been a lot, and I saw you put out
okay.
area
Thank you
code.
very much. Thank you
That's
for
an
getting
interesting
back to
name.
me.
That's an interesting
I'm sorry,
name, Your
Maurice?
Highness. I said, that's an interesting
thank
name,
you.
Your Highness. What's your birthday, sir?
It actually is my real first name. A lot of people think it's not, but it actually is my first name.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. When is your birthday, sir?
My birthday is June 15th, 1964.
That's interesting. I have a friend and a pop star called Nadine Coyle who's June 15th. And June 15th people have a lot of different types of gifts. At the moment, you know, you're lost and you're searching and you're looking for a new direction in your life. You're looking for things to turn around. That's my opinion. And I feel that next year's a really good one. Right now, you know, you're doing a bit of a search. Life has come to an end in a way. It's like you're dying and you're going to be reborn. Definitely, you feel like you've entered a tunnel. You know, it's like you've entered a dark tunnel and you're only just starting to see the light at the other side. You see where I'm coming from?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, you come out of this. You come out of this as a brand new person, and you're going to have a new perspective. There'll be a change. You know, if you used to like ketchup, you'll like mustard. If you used to eat meat, you might start eating fish. If you used to like to drive a car, you might want to drive a motorbike. It's just a shift. I'm trying to, they're all hypotheticals. I'm trying to show there's a shift in you. Definitely a rebirth, a new you. Just give me that year you were born again, please.
64. 6'4".
Yeah, so that you're a wood dragon like me. We're the same age. The wood dragon is the healer and the helper of the Chinese zodiac. Dragons are actually all powerful, but when you put wood there, they calm down a lot and become great healers. So let me look at that a second. You like a lot of freedom. You cannot be tied down. Don't tell me where to go. Don't tell me when to go. Don't tell me what time to be back. Let me be free. And the joke is, you like to be faithful within that freedom. It's not that you want to go screw around or cheat or do anything bad. You just need freedom to be you and to think and to do things. So you might just want to go for a walk, but you want to do it alone, and you want to leave when you want to leave and come back when you want to come back. And it's very important to explain that to any partners in love or friends, because they won't always understand why you need space and freedom. And this has been your whole life. You have to be free. You cannot be tied down or restricted. You're like a balloon. You got to float around.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Spot on.
You also
Spot
like
on.
you also like to take risks and gamble. I'm not saying gamble in the casino. I'm talking about in life itself. You're the guy that would go for it. To understand, you would go for it. You're not frightened to go for it. You'll try. You know what I mean? Some people will worry all their life and never do it, but you will do it. It's a bit like the guy who's in a bar and he sees the most beautiful girl anyone's ever seen. He goes up and says, "Hi, could I buy you a drink or could I take you out for dinner?" And she says yes. And his friends, when he comes back, say, "How did you get her?" He said, "Well, I asked her out." Because they all sat there dreaming about it, but he got up and did it. You get it?
Right.
It's like the guy who wanted to be a movie actor and went and auditioned for the film, whereas the others didn't. You're a risk taker. You'll take the shot. You get it? You're like Rocky. You're like Rocky in Rocky 1. You know, when Apollo gives you the shot, you're not going to say no. You're going to say, "Okay, I'll try it. Okay, even if I lose, but I'll give it a shot." That's you.
Wow.
Do you see that of yourself?
Are absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I'm actually stunned right now. You described it perfectly.
Well, that's how I see it.
And you're correct. You're correct. It has been my whole life. It's not just now. It has been
it's
as
from
far
day
back as
one.
I can remember.
Yeah, it's from day one. And you know, I'm looking at you and I'm seeing a whole new version of your life from 58, 59. 58's a little tricky because you're reviewing, but once you get into 58 and a half and 59, your life takes off in unimaginable ways, financially, emotionally, and career-wise. What is your work? Because you have a lot of capacity.
I'm retired. I'm retired now, but I did. Well, I used to be an auto worker. I used to build cars here in the U.S., and then I went into security work.
I was.
Yeah, I did a lot of personal security, corporate security, and now I'm retired.
Yeah, definitely. Geminis in general have incredible physical structure sometimes, and they're experts on weaponry, martial arts, etc. A lot of Geminis are really very, very competent in that area. But I just feel with you that even though you say you're retired, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel you might find yourself doing something for yourself in the new year where we won't call it work if you don't like, but it will be something quite interesting and new. Because you're not really the type to do nothing. Even though you are retired or can afford to be retired, you yourself will never retire from life. It's like, example, Donald Trump, who was the 14th of June, he was a billionaire, but he retired from that temporarily to be a brilliant president of the United States. Unfortunately, he was a little bit too good, so they had to get rid of him because he was helping the country too much and turning things around financially for people. And so they didn't like that, the powers that be, because people were getting wealthy. A lot of people were not having issues. Their lives were improving. So they had to get rid of him to make sure that everything was much harder.
What, you don't think we're doing so great right now?
I think I think both here and there, we have a bunch of morons running the world. And I think that Donald Trump was possibly the greatest president you've had in 100 years. And unfortunately, I used to know him, And that man is honorable and decent, and all he was trying to do was make the poor man well off. He was trying to make sure that everybody had a shot. You know, they never talked about all the incredible things he did. Like one day he was broke down on the freeway. A black man helped change his tire. And he said to the black man, "I'd like to send your wife some flowers." But he didn't send his wife flowers. He paid off their mortgage and sent them gifts. Okay? That's Donald Trump. You know, people do not talk about him with the truth. And, you know, I have known the man, and he's amazing. And like a lot of Geminis, he talks a big game, which Gemini do. There is a little bullshit to the sign Gemini in that they overstate the case sometimes. But like Johnny Depp, who's amazing, they are fundamentally great human beings. And, you know, in their hearts and in their souls, they're not looking to hurt. They're looking to reward those that they can. And you're the same. You know, but I'm upset for the world because Donald Trump really was helping everyone. You wouldn't have had Ukraine. You wouldn't have had the financial problems we've all got. If they'd have left Trump in power, the whole world stage would be completely different. You wouldn't have even had an argument anymore with Korea. Not at all. Nothing.
I'll tell you this though: when you get into this, half my audience is like, "No," and
that's okay for them.
That's why I don't get into politics.
That's okay for them, but they can go kiss Biden, and they can watch themselves lose their homes and watch the country go to war, etc. Because that's what they want. Not your clients, not your readers.
You know, I find it so interesting that you do bring him up in my reading, because I am a very similar type person as far as when it comes to Donald Trump. I'm the same way. I want the best for everyone.
Well, I know
and
that.
It's really interesting that you bring that up.
I believe that strongly. Well, it's like when you did your security. If you ever had to deal with anyone, you're the type that did the minimum to the person who was the wrong person, not the maximum. Right. You thought, well, I'll do my job, but I'm not in putting in the extra kick. You know, there are people who, when they do security, let's imagine they're a doorman or something, they don't just hit the guy who was rude. They beat him till he's half dead. That's it. Right. You're the type. That's right. They take their authority and go, man, you don't do that. You do the minimum and get the job done. And unfortunately, you know, you're not power hungry because in your soul, you just want to help. As I said, you are born in the year of the dragon, same as me, Wood Dragon. And your big thing is to help, heal, and educate, like me. But there are others on this planet, unfortunately, who are influenced by the chap from downstairs, if you know what I mean. You know, they say that the Bible says that the devil has domain, and there's no question about it. And unfortunately, the good try to do what they can. You know, there's a lot of people who try to do an awful lot of good. Example is Johnny Depp, because there he was accused of everything in the UK. Oh, yeah. Ruined, abused,
they really
lied about.
There.
They trashed him. They lied about him in every way. And the truth was he'd done none of it. And now the truth is out. But for 6 years, they ruined one of the greatest actors on earth.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites, too. I'll admit it. He's one of my favorites.
I had the pleasure of a conversation with him February, March.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting, Maurice, that you're bringing it up, because Johnny Depp is one of my favorites as well.
Well,
has been since he started.
Yeah, me too.
I had a conversation with him February, March, where I told him, and later I told Lily Rose how she has the identical chart to him. That's his daughter. But I told him that he'd been wrong, and that God was watching, and that justice will be done, and that God bless him for all his good deeds. Because this is a guy who only does good things. Okay, he likes women. Fine. Who doesn't? He likes good things.
Nobody's
Who
perfect.
Doesn't? Right, but the point is, he goes to hospitals. He gives away money.
He took in that artist. He took in that artist, just to, street artist.
He's taken in loads of people.
Yeah.
He's given so much away, and yet an idiot like her comes along, makes up a pack of lies. Of course, in the end, the truth came out. But the same thing will probably happen with Trump. I think if he runs, I think that he'll be back in. Thank God. I hope.
They're doing really hard to stop it. I mean, incredibly hard.
I know that they're accusing him of all sorts of things that don't exist.
Oh, it's such
but
a
they've done that all before. It's like when the Kennedys were in power. They were criminals, so they both got murdered. of course, the media wanted to say what they wanted to say. But at the end of the day, Joe was a master criminal, and his two sons were the same. And then, of course, they murdered Marilyn Monroe. But the point, because she knew too much, the point is that I'm a little bit controversial, but unfortunately,
it's been
I see
talked about on
behind
the show
lines.
before, actually. That's
Well,
interesting.
I see it. I mean, you've got this beautiful young woman, healthy as anything, and they murdered her.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yes,
And she was. What's interesting is they were all Gemini. Did you know that?
No, I didn't think about
JFK was
No, I
Gemini.
didn't.
Robert
I didn't
Kennedy was
even think
Gemini,
about that.
and Marilyn Monroe was Gemini.
I knew JFK was. I didn't think about
Bobby
Marilyn Monroe.
was too. Marilyn Monroe was June 1st. The others were both the end of May. And, of course, because they did so many bad things, it came back on them. You see, the problem is we've got the media that creates one image, and then we've got reality.
Oh, I say that all the time.
And
The land of illusion.
Reality's got nothing to do. Every time a famous person or a successful person starts telling the truth, they immediately either murder them or remove them and destroy them. Every single time. Have a look.
You're right.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree.
I think it's
the
really...
minute people try to do any good, they get rid of them.
Well,
I'm not just talking about politicians. I'm talking about anyone.
Well, I think with somebody like Donald Trump that came in, I'm not trying to get into politics. If he's good or bad or whatever he was doing, the thing is he wasn't owned. And there's a system. There's a system in America. And
that's right.
One politician gets in and does favors for the lobbyists, and then they give them a job when the politician leaves, and then that lobbyist goes and runs for office, and the circle keeps going until you get somebody like Trump in there, and he puts his people in, he puts whoever he wants in, and he breaks everything apart. Just breaks it apart like a bull in a china shop.
Well, the reality is he's the only president ever who took a pay cut. Let's put it that way. And let's not forget, he gave away all of his salary, he got everything back, he kept to himself, he did everything the right way. And then think about Trumponomics and how people's personal finances were and the quality of their daily lives, how they were and how they are now. I mean, right now we've got an energy crisis for no reason at all. There's no shortage whatsoever. They're ripping everybody off globally.
Yeah, and inflation
it's just
and everything else. Yep.
Well, but all of it's been caused by a plan. It's a plan.
I agree. It's
even the war in Ukraine and just about everything else that goes on, created by politicians because that's what they want.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's the way I see it.
Well, I personally see it the same way, actually, but yes. I don't trust anyone. That's the way I always fall on it.
Yeah,
media and politicians, anybody, including Donald Trump. Honestly, I mean, I don't think he's horrible. I think there's a bunch of bad press and a lot of manipulation.
Very polite. He's much bigger physically than you'd expect. He's well over 6'2" and at least 250 pounds. He's a big, strong man. He's basically what you see is what you get. And I'd have to say, very polite to anyone, everyone. A big tipper to people that, anyone would call in and they'd say to you, oh, I work for Mr. Trump. Wow, did he give me a big tip? He cares about individuals,
Yes,
and unfortunately, he says what he feels like I do or you do. And that's the problem.
Especially
as you
today.
say, he wasn't bought and paid. He wasn't bought and paid for. I mean, I remember advising one or two presidents, and I turned around and said, I don't understand why you need a reading from me. But obviously, when I spoke to these different presidents, who I shall not name, but it really did happen, I realized that they were just figureheads. It wasn't real. It wasn't real.
Like I said, they should wear a NASCAR jacket, with all the people that bought and paid for them.
Not only that, I would go as far as to say that some of them are just actors reading lines.
It's true.
And that's why they can't answer questions, because it's not from the heart. It's not them. They can't deviate from the speech.
Yeah.
They don't have the answer. And also, I think it's sad. I think, we've got world leaders now who not just in America, people who are in positions of authority who just lie all the time and are not looking out for the average family man. This is global.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, family men, women, children, hardworking, honest, honorable people, not necessarily rich or poor, they need to live their lives. They just want to raise their kids and get on with it. And if you think
And I think there's a big agenda to break the family apart and break that apart, because if you
there really is. What they want to do is they want to break the 1940s, 50s, 60s values. And by the way, I'm glad they've broken the race values. That was disgusting. There should be no discrimination between race, religion, or color at all.
Or sexual preference. I'm a big fan of that.
Listen, I myself am straight, but I have a number of gay friends. Good luck to them. If that's what gives them pleasure, as long as they let me put it this way, I draw the line at pedophilia in the sense that, as far as I'm concerned, they're sick individuals that don't belong in society.
That does not. That crosses the line.
Thank you. But consenting adults, men or women who wish to have same-sex partners, good luck to them. They're no different than anybody else. Remember, I read for gay and straight people, and I got to tell you, they have even more problems than straight people. And what they really want is love and acceptance from their partner and their friends. And also, let's not forget that some of the greatest artists, designers, and singers, etc., actors are gay. So who cares?
My favorite one, Freddie Mercury.
There you go. One. I mean, I personally, I like Elton John as the first one I could think of, but I really could. I mean, I liked him too. I couldn't give a damn, know. And I also think that someone's sexuality should have nothing to do with the roles they play on screen, because if we go back to Rock Hudson, it proves that it would make no difference. Yeah. An actor is playing a role; they're doing a part. Now they don't want people of a different color playing a different role, or a different race playing a different race, or somebody with a dialect. They want everybody to be whatever they are. But of course, the whole point about being an actor or a performer is to deliver something unusual.
Yeah.
Also, I personally don't care the color, height, build, or looks of an actor. The only thing is, if I like to take a role like James Bond, I'd like it to be played by a man, because it should be male.
Well,
I'm not sure.
I'm a fan of the Ian Fleming's novels, and
that's it. And the other thing is, I'm not sure he should be black, only because nothing wrong with black actors; they're amazing.
I actually would make the exception for Idris Elba. I love Idris Elba.
Well, Idris, unfortunately, even though he's a great actor, you've got to realize he's a man in his 50s. They cannot cast him.
It's too late now.
It's not financially viable.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to cast anyone over 35 or 38. Yeah. They're just not. Because they're going to want to refranchise, and they need somebody young.
I could talk to you about James Bond all night. Sadly, we were at the end of the show. Go ahead.
I was going to go on to the Simon Templar role and tell you that can be played by a Chinese man, because Simon Templar, the character, was written by a Chinese man. People don't know that.
Yeah. Well,
did you know that?
No. Mm-mm.
There you go.
Okay. Well, Royal, thank you for calling in.
Yes.
You made the conversation, the last conversation tonight, very interesting.
Pleasure. I hope I was accurate.
Yes, very interesting. Maurice, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much.
You too. You too. Have a great rest of the day.
You have a wonderful day.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Royal. And sorry to everybody who tried to call in. I know I missed like 10 of you. There's no way I could fit you all in tonight. I was doing the best I can. We had a little delay of technical problems. Sorry about that, Maurice. But I'd love to have you on again. I definitely want to have you on again.
Well, like I always say to the girlfriend, that was good. Let's go again.
Well, we definitely got to talk. I'm almost booked up for the year, but I definitely could like to look at getting you back on.
Pleasure. Have a great rest of the night or day, and thank you for the opportunity.
All right.
God bless you, sir. Be well. Bye, sir.
All right. That's it for the show, guys. We will maybe be back next Sunday. I have a guest theme going on. I don't know, but I also might take that day off because, like I said, I'm booked up almost for the rest of the year for every other Sunday after that because I got to get my kids back to school. Oh, I can't believe it. Summer's already pretty much over with. But that's it for the show. Thank you to everybody who called in. sorry I missed so many calls tonight. There were a ton. And if you didn't get through, we will try to get Maurice back on the show. We also have other great mediums that come on the show. Maurice was excellent tonight. And we'll definitely have to get him back on and do this again. All right, guys. Hopefully see you next Sunday. If not, it'll be the following Sunday. Everybody have a great week. Thank you to everybody who shares out the show. Keep doing it. Keep telling people Paranormal Soup, the place where the paranormal and the weird happen live every Sunday night. Thank you to everybody who donates on Patreon. It does help pay the bills. You can always donate on YouTube Super Chat. It does help pay the bills as well. All right, guys. Have a great night. See you maybe next Sunday or the following. All right. See you then.